I'm gonna recount some things. Mo got here early. I was naked in the pool, and then Halston just showed up, so we went and got coffee. So we've talked about a few things that I will reiterate.
Right.
Literally one of the best late night sets I've ever seen in my life.
Thank you, man.
When you on Colbert is fucking, it was murderous. And so you know it's a good set when you go, what am I watching for a second? Like, is this his special?
Oh, man.
It was fucking great. I watched your special too. The beginning of it, you know how when you start watching it and then you start going, okay, it's too good. I can't get into this. I can't. You're so good. You're so talented at characters.
Yeah.
And not just at doing an accent or something, but giving that character a personality. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, Bert, it does make sense, yeah.
I knew. By the way, I was thinking
here.
of the German guy.
German guy is my favorite because he can just say anything that's wild as shit. But like, yeah, we went to the Kitty Cat Club. It was nice. Everyone jerked each other off. It was nice. It was lovely. It was a perfect Saturday night, quite frankly, Bert.
Dude, you're great at that, and little ones where I go, where like, is that? I have so much I want to talk to you about because your life. Your path is probably the most, one of the most iconic things that happened in my life was the Gulf War, which is the beginning of the change of your life,
Absolutely.
technically.
Yeah.
And so when I saw that, I went, motherfucker. That was the first time the world made sense to me, where I was like, oh, there's more than just us.
You in the war? Were you in the military?
No, I'm not that kind of guy. Fucking Jesus.
I went out there, man, and it was just like changed my life. I was on the horizon of the Kuwait border, saw those Iraqi soldiers just putting up them white flags, and I said to myself, "There's more to life."
Dude, when I saw that war, that we watched it in school.
Right.
I went home. And I said something to my dad about, I'm not for war. And my dad's like, you're a fucking idiot. Go to your room.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's like, you have no idea what this war is about. You don't know anything.
That's true.
But I wanted to know your perspective. I only know of Kuwait as a place on CNN, you know?
Right. I mean, the Gulf War to me forever changed my life. I was born in Kuwait to Palestinian parents. We fled the Gulf War in 1990. And my family hasn't been the same since. I don't even know where to start. Where do you want me to start with this war? I mean, it changed my life forever. I was growing up in Kuwait, then ended up in Houston, Texas, a few months later.
What
my family
what
set
did your
apart.
dad do? What did your dad do in Kuwait?
My father was a telecommunications engineer.
I have a picture of your dad in my head.
Dude.
Yeah. Because
it's funny you bring that up, bro. Today is his anniversary of his passing, actually, the 17th.
You lost your dad when you were really young.
I was very young, yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah. I forgot until now. I was thinking about it. I was like, yeah, it's going to be special. I said, when I sit down with Bert, it's going to be special.
I'm sorry, man. I can't imagine what it's like to lose your dad.
Honestly, I'm surprised I'm getting emotional because it's been so long. But it's, yeah, he's amazing, man.
How'd your dad pass?
He had a heart attack. Whew. You don't start off a comedy podcast like
It's okay, man.
No, it's, he had a heart attack and he was in the hospital for like 3 weeks and a lot of surgeries, complications, and he passed away. He had like open heart surgery in the 80s. I was too young. I was a baby in San Francisco, actually. And then I'm pretty sure like the war killed him. Like everybody, my father was, came from nothing, telecommunications engineer. My mom tells me stories all the time. Like a few days ago, he had a cell phone in the 60s,
Yeah.
He was very passionate about phones. He's a telecommunications engineer. He built one of the first radio stations in Kuwait and was instrumental in creating wireless communication between oil rigs, and it was like, groundbreaking to have wireless communication, between different rigs, for instance, So
Yeah.
he was a big part of that, and he did very well for himself. He was very wealthy. I mean, wealthy meaning like he was worth a few $1 million, and then lost everything overnight. And I'm certain that that's what killed him.
What was how does that? Was it? Did all of a sudden? I don't even know what happened that made your dad leave.
So in Kuwait, when the Gulf War broke out, we're originally Palestinian, and the Palestinians were, there was there's these world leaders and that align themselves with each other that affect citizens in that country. For instance, Yasser Arafat shaking hands with Saddam Hussein made Palestinians like unwanted in Kuwait. So you had to leave, you had no other option but to leave.
So
if you really
fucked
want
up.
to. Yeah. So there's these relationships that have nothing to do with you personally. And you don't have to agree with them or whatever, just for having a political opinion in the matter, created unsettling circumstances for my entire family. So we had to leave. That was the option. It was like, okay, we're going to stay here, endure this, or are we going to, we don't know how this is going to fall. And I have children. Imagine, you're a parent, you have children. What am I going to do with them? Let's get them out. So that was the idea. My mom actually got my sister and I out first, and she went back, and my father was like taken away and persecuted for his political opinion. And a lot of things happened to my father that I found out about in my 20s. Like he was in prison unlawfully for 50 days plus, I believe, and he was tortured, and they thought he was like an informant. He's nothing. He's a telecommunications engineer, and he just had a political opinion, and it was very sad to see that happen, and he passed away like 5 years later, man. And all of his friends died early, too. All of his friends. I believe that the emotional stress that came with that, and being in your 50s and losing everything, and it was very, very stressful on a person's heart. Yeah.
I can't imagine losing everything right now.
Right?
I mean, it's really like I was very emotionally connected with the story of your father, and as a father, I think as a father, I think of like, what if I had to pick up my girls? What if they said, listen, man, the stuff you talk about on your podcast, we can't. That's not cool anymore.
Right.
And you've been very vocal about it for the last 10 years. I don't even talk politics on my podcast, but like freedom of speech and whatnot. Right. And then me and the girls had to go. Here's what I got overwhelmed with. We had to go and go, all right, we're moving to Kuwait. Well, I know Kuwait City is a city. Let's go there. Yeah. And then where do you want to live? I don't know. Let's see where the stadium is.
Right.
Like, I don't like.
And for us, it was like Houston. And you got to remember, it was very sheltered or very innocent life in Kuwait. And then you move to Houston, and then you're like, Houston's a phenomenal city. That's my hometown. I love it to pieces. But when we first moved there, like, nobody did any research. I was being recruited by, like, Mexican gangs, and I was like, no, man, my name's Muhammad. He was like, what, bro? You look like Hector, bro. You for real? Just freaking him out. Then you had, like, black gangs trying to beat me up because they thought I was Mexican.
If I could have one video clip of anything, it would be you meeting black people for the first time. Yeah. Just being like, bro, they're so fucking loud.
Look, black folks were the first people like to tell me I was doing it wrong. You know what I mean? Like that. If it wasn't for black folks, I wouldn't have learned shit. Like I would show up to school. My friend Bruce, I'll never forget this because it's very traumatic. Imagine you show up in 5th grade, and Bruce like, everybody, come see what Mo's wearing. Everybody, come see what Mo's wearing. This motherfucker got on Pro Wings. I was like, what's Pro Wings? It's like the shoes you got on from Payless. I didn't know, like the $13.99. I didn't know. I didn't know those are not cool. I wore I went to British English school. I wore a bow tie and that's what I did in elementary. In Kuwait. I was walking in like, hello, I had a British accent as an Arab dude named Muhammad. Like I was like a glitch in the Matrix in Houston, I was an ESL class.
It's crazy to all of a sudden go to a place where there is status in what you're wearing when you just looked at shoes and you're like, oh, they're cool. Yeah, I'll take those.
Yeah, they're black and purple. Cool. I like those. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm black. I like black and purple shoes. I didn't know. Like I had no idea. And until it was bring food to school day, and Arabs take that very, very seriously. And my mom brought a whole spread. Like she baked goods, and she actually made like savory dishes and brought them to school, and that's when I became cool. Bruce was like, man, what is this? I was like, this is Zatar. Zatar, man, I love Zatar. He goes, man, I'm going to name my first daughter Zatar. I never forgot it. He was 5th grade. He telling me this. I'm like, you named your first daughter Zatar? Like, he loved
first daughter Zatar.
When I brought the food, it was just like over. I became like the cool kid, and then when we played football, and I could just throw a football. I had like a natural talent for zipping a foot, and I just became super cool. It's like, I'm Palestinian. We throw rocks. It is a rock. Let's just do it. I was very accurate. I could hit you from 50 yards away. By like 6th grade, I was like throwing 40-yard zips. So I was very, very cool immediately after that. But yeah, it was definitely a shift in coming from Kuwait to Houston. I mean, just some of the lingo. Just trying to make friends. I learned British English. I remember walking up to my teacher and asking her for a rubber because I made a mess on my paper. I was like, can I have a rubber, which is eraser. Yeah. In British, it's like, for erasers, rubbers. I was asking for rubbers in school, and I didn't know. People were like, "Oh, this guy is crazy." I asked our neighbor in the apartment complex, Robert. It was my friend. This is 5th grade, and again, so innocent. I asked his mom. I was like, "Oh, single mom, and I see her all the time, and I go hang out at their house." Like, "What do you do?" And she's like, "I'm a dancer." And I was like, "Oh, like a ballerina?" And she looked at me and smiled. She was like, "Yeah, like a ballerina, right?" So then I go over there. I find out they get a new pet. So I go over his house, and his mom answers the door. And I was like, "I heard you got a new pussy. Can I please pet your pussy?" And she was like, "What?" You know, she got so mad. She thought I'm 5th grade. She should have corrected me and put it together.
Yeah.
I found out she's not a ballerina. Obviously, she's a stripper. And so she thought I found out that she was a stripper, and I was now being, you know, this jokester kid in the neyborhood. And she's like, "Pussy," and she slammed the door in my face, and I lost like my only friend that I knew at the time.
What was your mom's experience on all this?
My mom is a gangster. Like, you see the special, I talk about her, like how she got us out of Kuwait and how she was able to, you know, smuggle whatever money we had.
You don't even know. I can't imagine. Like, what do you pack?
Yeah.
What do you pack?
That's when you find out what's important to you. You know what I mean?
Like, I just have this idea of your dad coming home and saying to your mom, like, "Hey, we got to get the fuck out of here."
Yeah.
And your mom going, "Cool."
But we didn't just leave right away, right? So there was like this whole thing. The neighborhood was getting taken over. The dynamics were shifting. We lived on a street. It was a government house because when you work for the Kuwaiti oil company, for instance, for the government, there's all these, you know, I don't want to call them camps. It's like all these different neighborhoods that are completely owned by the company. So our street was like one of the guest quarters. It was like a palace at the end of the street. It's not a huge palace like you think of now, but it was just, that's where guests would come or diplomats would come. They would put them up there. So our neighborhood in Kuwait was definitely a, you know, something that was targeted by the Iraqi military. It was oil based. Remember, they turned on, they lit up all the oil rigs, right? Yeah. So I wasn't there for that. My mom was, and she was just telling me, like, you know, from noon to midnight, there was no difference. It was completely pitch black all the time, and the dynamics in there, people were siphoning fuel out of vehicles. There was, you know, Saddam Hussein at the time dropped off a bunch of like prisoners, literally, and told them just to loot, completely loot as much as possible. So, you know, imagine my father has a daughter. She's 17, 18 years old. He's worried about her. You know, God forbid something happens to her. You know what I mean? Like, it's just all these things were shifting. So every day was different. So we spent a couple of months enduring that, and then my mom had a strategy of getting my sister and I out on a school bus through Baghdad, through, you know, all these different checkpoints, and then hiding the money strategically. You'd have to watch my special. I don't want to ruin it, so you can watch it. But please. I dedicated it to my mother, and she got us out of there. She took us out, and she took us to Amman, Jordan, on a school bus through Iraq, and then my sister and I on a flight went to Houston, where my brother was studying, and then they followed like 9 months later, and whatever they endured, I was sheltered. I was 9 years old. I'm going to tell you everything. This is what's happening. Your dad has been taken away. You know, they're trying to tell you everything, and you find out later on. But that was the beginning of the shift for me, for sure.
Dude, that I can't. I mean, I guess ultimately your mom would probably say everyone's got it in them to do, be a hero. Absolutely. You know, everyone's got it in them, but as like just a regular dude, I don't know if I got that.
Of course you do.
Like, but
it's natural human instinct.
I melted down trying to get an Uber at fucking the Coliseum last night.
7 minutes.
I was like, wait, are you by the Chevron? Where the fuck are you?
That's hilarious.
His name was Muhammad too, by the way.
My God, so many Muhammad Uber drivers.
You said that, and I was like, that is a really common fucking name.
I take screenshots of every Muhammad Uber driver. Every time I make a stupid face, I'm like, "Hey, all right." Yeah. And I take a screenshot. Then I start imagining that he's making the same face as I am at the same exact time. He's getting a notification. But yeah, it is very, very I was watching a soccer game. That's how I wrote that joke. I was like, "Oh man, it'd be funny to have that." And that's how I wrote that joke.
Such great. Yeah. I can't tell you, man, that I've seen a lot. Joe Coy's got a pretty great Colbert, but yours was fucking monstrous. What did I want to ask? How do you pronounce your last name? I saw you do it on the Breakfast Club,
Right?
but like, and I'm always fascinated at I have a friend, Jesus Trejo, very funny comedian. You know Jesus?
Yeah,
he's the best. He's the best. And we were eating lunch one time. I can't let go of this. And he's like, it's not a big deal. But the lady said, what, flour or corn tortillas? And he goes, corn tortillas, with an accent. I go, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing that for? And he goes, that's how you pronounce it. And I go, no, you're doing it with like a Mexican accent. And he goes, and that's how it's pronounced, Bert. He goes, you're the one saying it wrong. So I'm always fascinated. I think it's at the story of children, basically American children. I would argue you're probably more American than Palestinian in my eyes.
Yeah,
like
right.
I don't really. But
it's an interesting dynamic that you juggle as a refugee or as an immigrant to America or first generation immigrant to America. Yeah, it's a very interesting balance that goes inside of you. That you're like, yeah, I'm from here, but I grew up here, so I am. Yeah, I'm definitely Texan. You know, like even if I go back home, they'll be like, this guy is like. He's a fucking Texan, you know what I mean? He's a Palestinian Texan, this guy. Like, it's funny, but yeah, it's true.
I don't even hear any accent in you. I actually almost hear a little bit of like an Ohio accent in you.
Oh my God, Ohio!
That's what I said. But what is that like? How do you say your last name?
It's Amer.
But how would your dad say it?
Well, it's Amer.
Amer.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So the letter is a. It's an Arabic. I say it like this because this is what it looks like. It's a so it's Amer. But
maybe
you know,
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, little Muhammad Amer. He's the only one that can pronounce my name right. It's very nice to meet you, Muhammad Amer. Yes, finally. It takes an Austrian that grew up in America to pronounce my name right. That's hilarious.
Oh fuck!
Never thought about that, but no, yeah, we have a lot of names, and I'm as far as language is concerned, and how Jose like went into tortillas. You know, I do the same thing with languages. When I speak another language, I just immediately become, you know, like the accents, right? Like Mexicanos, they also are surprised by me. Like when I'm talking to them, or I'm speaking to them in Spanish, they also get confused until they figure out like my grammar's not perfect. Like, where you from? Like it takes a while. Like, hola, ¿cómo está? Todo está bien, amigo. Like, mira, yo necesito tiempo para llegar aquí. You know, like I become this.
You're really good at picking up.
I don't know what it is. I don't know where it came from. My brothers did a lot of accents and did a lot of prank calls when I was a kid. Yeah. I just picked up on it, and my cousin would do a lot of sound effects, and that's where all of it came from for sure. But yeah, I just can't. I learned Spanish in like 3 months.
I think also it's I don't know if the right word's immigrant adjacent, but I think that
maybe I think it has everything to do with like speaking Arabic. You know, being able to speak Arabic. There's a wide spectrum of pronunciations that you need to do to speak Arabic, so you can pick up on stuff. Like doing the German thing is because, you know, doing a German accent definitely helps out that I know Arabic. The chaz, the chad, the vagazut, you know, you can just play around with different tones, and that's definitely what it is.
I think as a white guy, when you're a white guy and you start doing accents, there's a weird thing where there's a fine line between paying homage to an accent and making fun of an accent.
Absolutely. Like it's harder to pull off for the white guy though, for sure.
White guys are, it's, you know, like I always do a black guy accent whenever I do a black guy.
Yeah.
Joe Coy pointed it out to me that sometimes I won't, and I turn black guys into like teenage girls. like if I told you Donnell, who we'll talk about in a second, but Donnell and Patrice O'Neill taught me how to make omelets. Donnell was the first one. He's like, dude, you got to season the pan. And Joe Coy goes, Donnell didn't talk like that.
Yeah.
And then, but Joe would do Donnell's accent. You would do Donnell's accent in a weird way. Yeah, yo, son.
This is how you make an omelet, son. You grab these bell peppers, see? Like, you got to put butter at the end, son.
Yeah. Dude, I spent a month with Donnell doing Reality Bites Back. He's the funniest motherfucker alive.
Funniest motherfucker alive.
Funniest, bro. Dude, quickest. There was a guy,
so
Kyle
funny.
Cease. This is my favorite Donnell Rollins story ever.
Please.
Kyle Cease is a comedian. You might have known him. He was on Comedy Central. He quit. Now he's a motivational speaker. But
it's funny you say quit and then became a motivator.
Yeah,
he quit that and just became a motivational.
He's like,
speaker.
I give up. I'm gonna teach people how to never give up. Everyone thinks you cannot quit
this job. I'm gonna tell everybody how to persevere through other obstacles.
It's too hard.
Playing,
it's too hard. I give up. Anyway, you guys never give up. Never give up.
Here's the keys to success. What the fuck do you do?
As I see them in my throne of failure. I'm so sorry, Kyle. If you're listening,
I'm so sorry.
We're just joking. We're just joking. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my, it's so funny.
Kyle wore every episode. It was a reality show, and every week he wore. He made a hat, made a blue hat for every week. So every week he was on. So he made 14 weeks, and each hat
Kyle
said,
did? Oh no, Kyle did.
Kyle. They were all blue, and Kyle's hat said week 1, and then next one he said week 2, and he had all the hats up to week 13, week 14.
Oh my god!
And Donald Sullivan rolled his eyes, and Kyle goes, "What?" And Kyle puts on the week 1 hat, and Donnell goes, "That's right, son, you are the week 1."
That didn't start off like the way he intended.
And Kyle goes, "No, I think you spell it. You spell week differently if you meant that." And Donald goes, "Not in my neighborhood. You know what? You just have a hat that says week on it." Oh, I laughed so hard at that.
That's hilarious.
Donnell's just such a, and he
is the youngest spirit I've ever met.
He's like 102.
He's 100. He is the youngest spirit I've ever met. Touring with him, like, just, we've done so many shows with Chappelle together, and that was like, I can't tell half of the damn stories, but my God, it's so fucking funny. He's the funniest guy. He was juicing leftover vegetables from our green rooms, right? He was walking around like, "Yo, son, nobody's eating this celery and these carrots in these green rooms. They're on the rider. Nobody's touching them." So he takes them, and I walk on the tour bus. It was in Syracuse. I'll never forget it. He has a brand new fucking juicer sitting there on the the kitchenette in the tour bus, and he has all these like beautiful jars, these like glass jars that you can just he's just baby carrots. He's just panning out those like trays of veggies, panning them out. And it was his fault I ended up taking shit on that tour bus, and I was fucking drinking his juice.
I gotta cook for him tonight. I know he's dude, he's so he can't let someone cook around him.
Oh yeah, it's hard.
But
I'm the same way though, man.
How did you meet Chappelle?
So Dave, I started stand up in '99, like professionally, and I was touring, and I joined a group called Allah Made Me Funny. It was three of us.
I think I saw that on
Amazon.
I want to say this sounds right. I think I saw clips of that on MySpace back in the day.
Oh my God, that's very possible actually.
Yeah, because I remember it was at the time when it was like right after 9/11 or something.
Yeah, it was a few years after.
I saw that. I think I saw that right when I started having kids.
That's amazing. Yeah, so we Preacher Mo started the tour, and then co-founded it with Azhar, and then they asked me to join the tour. There was another guy on the tour too, and then he fell off, and we ended up touring together, and we ended up having a lot of global success. Like, we just made a documentary stand-up film. We released that into independent theaters, like totally indie situation. And we started touring South Africa, Australia, throughout Europe. We're doing theaters and 25 city tours and 28 city tours in the UK and throughout Scotland. Like Holland sold out tours in Amsterdam and then Scandinavia. This is 2008. Like before anybody knew that you could. The stand-up art form itself was barely in its infancy globally, right? So it was just, Dave heard about us, was a fan of ours. He came out to our show in Columbus, Ohio in 2007, and his mom came out, his niece came out, his sister came out, and his brother came out. And he ended up surprising our audience and doing an hour after we finished, and he just, like, of course, smashed completely clean. Completely clean. He said ass once and apologized, which is insane to me.
Dude, I don't want to hear this story anymore.
But no, he murdered. He murdered. That's the genius of Chappelle, where he's able to like shift gears and be equally hilarious. And it was just it was a moment that we all went out to dinner afterwards, and we get to know each other that way. And then when Dave was starting to do shows up again, and we happened to be in, Uzzer and I were in San Francisco at the time, and we had our own show, and he happened to be down the street, like in Oakland, and we're like, oh my God, let's go say hello. And we went in, this is like 2012, and went in and said hello to him. And then he was like, why don't y'all come open up tomorrow? And then we did, and he was like, come again tomorrow night. And I mean, he just kept adding me to shows, and we did Atlanta, and then he was like, why don't you come next week? And now it's like 600 plus shows later.
Really?
Yeah, and that's how the relationship happened.
Does he not to switch to, but Chappelle's like a great white shark in our business.
Mm-hmm.
Does he, like when you hang out with Burr, you can see him working. You can see his brain working.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every second you're with Burr, you're like you almost realize, okay, every conversation we're having, none of these are going to be my bits.
Right.
These are ideas he's been laying in bed chewing on.
Right.
And now he's running them by me. Is that what's Chappelle like to be around?
It's very similar to that, for sure. I mean, Dave is always thinking. He's always thinking. He's always processing. He's, he says the hardest part is this.
Yeah.
And, he just sits in that reflection. It's hard to even talk to him. It's like you don't even exist in front of him. Sometimes when he's in the zone, you just let him be. And we all do that to a certain extent, for sure. But Dave definitely does it. We've spent hours of conversations and breaking things down, and just brothers, just talking, shooting the shit. I would have loved
to have been on that tour bus when the Louis shit went down.
Oh my! We weren't on a tour. We weren't on a tour. Then we had our phone calls for sure. Called Dave immediately when the Times things dropped, and we had a conversation about it. Yeah, I mean, it's a big part in our industry for sure. I mean, comedians are going to talk about it and do that. I was there the night he came back for that. I was at the Cellar, and I got left fielded by the Times. Yeah, they called me up, and I was sitting next to. Maybe she didn't want me to say her name, but anyway, so I was sitting next to it. It said unknown number on the phone. I was like, I'm not gonna hate when people call me unknown, and she was like, maybe it's a celebrity. I was like, yeah, sometimes I do get unknown, it happens. So I pick up the phone. I was like, hey, it's the Times. What were you doing? I was like, Jesus Christ, man, I was just doing sets. I saw Louis. I was just like in and out. I was just like, hey, he walked on stage at the Cellar. People went crazy, and he was killing. Seemed like everything was cool, and I had to go do another set. I don't know anything else, and that's legit what it was. It was just like quick and hung up the phone. So it's very fascinating, in our business, what's happening with that, how it's going. It's like that's a whole another situation.
A whole situation that, which sad is like, I mean, I don't know when this airs, but like I was talking to my cousin. My cousin's not in the business at all, and all he said was, I thought it was fucking amazing. He was like, I'll tell you what's more a statement about this industry is that no one's willing to throw themselves out to the lambs to host the Oscars because they're afraid of what's in their past, what's in their timeline.
Right.
They're like, he's like, no one will even do it because they're like, no, man, I can't be put under that scrutiny. And if no one wants to be put on that scrutiny, guy or girl, then I think that just says...
What was that?
That's the fucking vacuum for the pool. Even the pool vacuum's like, I don't want to be voted for the Oscars. Fuck me to get my name out of that.
Did it say me too?
But yeah, he's like, that's just fucked. He's like, would you do it? And I was like, oh no, I would never fucking host the Oscars.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, no one will host the Oscars. And they're like, I don't know what I've said. I don't know what I mean. You started in Houston, and that's that's the first place I started headlining regularly was at the Laugh Stop.
Oh man, I missed that place so much.
No, we were both there when Pete was running it.
Yeah, that's right. I was there before Pete too.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. I mean, I was in Houston, so I was. Oh yeah, that was like one of the open mics that we would go hit up. It was the hottest open mic.
You were there when Babbitt was running it.
Of course, yeah, I was there.
Those were the days.
Man, those were the days. Like I used to when Joe. I was a kid. I was like 17, 18 years old, and Joe and Joey were at the club, and I was trying to, I was just hanging out with them, and
I can see Joey loving you.
I got it, man. I feel some type of way about Joey because I just feel like we have so much to talk about.
Yeah.
And it makes me sad, honestly, that we haven't talked about it, and I just can't wait to see him, because I remember being this young kid, like he'd give me pep talks. Mo, it's what you gotta fucking do. You gotta go to LA, stop fucking bullshitting, you know, sitting there wasting your fucking time, go out to LA. He was just constantly telling me that, and I had a vision for myself. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm not mature enough for this yet. I saw a lot of guys going to LA and coming back with their tail tucked between their legs. I was like, I want to be a great comedian first, and then I'll go to New York, and then I'll come to LA. That was the whole plan and strategy. And it doesn't mean I wasn't popping in and out of LA all the time. But I love Joey. Like, Mo, you got to do this. And I was like, yo, I'll pick you up and go to the airport, not knowing that he was having a fucking ball and I was going to be driving around at 6 a.m. trying to get a hold of him. I was like, I quit. You know, I was just young, motivated kid, was trying to pick him up. So I love that era, and I've always I have like a love-hate relationship with like who Babbitt is, you know? Yeah. Like, he did a lot for that club to bring in all the top guys. I mean, my God, Mitch Hedberg, you know, did his album there. You know, Joe Rogan, I think, did his first album.
I did
there.
my first album there.
You did first. I mean, my God, it was like that room, right? So, but at the same time, he fucking ruined that place. Like, unfortunately, you know, he ruined it. And then Pete took over, and then that whole happened, and then they moved the club, and it was just like it lost its nostalgia. It's
I see Pete every time I go to Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah, he comes out, he brings a big group too. He hadn't changed at all.
Yeah, at all. He's
Not
still
at
the
all.
same guy.
Yeah, to the point where you're like, do you have Twitter? You know what people are talking about? Pete was a great guy for me.
Yeah.
He really was. He that club was established.
Yeah.
Brought me down because Dane canceled at the last minute.
Right.
And they were like, this guy's like Dane. And Pete's like, I'll take him.
Yeah, it's fun.
And so I had sold out shows that weekend because Dane was supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And he was like, you're funny. I just had a kid, I think. And he was like, why don't you come down Thanksgiving? And I'll pay you $3,000, which was a lot. I mean, it's a lot now, but it was a lot then to me.
Man, that's a lot. Yeah,
put me in. He said, bring your daughter, bring your wife, and put me up in a really nice, in like a suite in a hotel. And it was one of the best Thanksgivings I've ever had in my life.
Look, man, I at the same, like, for Mark, the way he ran that club was like almost, he was trying to do it with what the store was doing. You know, you have to hang out at the club or else you don't go up, and that's the way it's going to be. I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, like, I'm trying to be a good comedian here. I'm trying to, like, be great. I'm going on the road. I'm doing one-nighters. You can't fucking punish me for working on the road, and when I come back, I'm present. You can't be like, where were you last Monday? And that's what he would do to me. I mean, I was like 17, 18, 19-year-old kid. I'm like, bro, I don't understand. So I went to the Comedy Showcase, and that was like where Ralphie May was mentored by Danny Martinez, who's my mentor as well, and that's why I learned stand-up was from Danny. Why everybody was just trying to hang out at the Laugh Stop and get his attention so they can get stage time. I was getting stage time and I was getting better. And then when Pete took over, he was very kind to me and brought me in right away. He was like, why isn't this guy working his fucking room? It's no brainer. And he would bring me in all the time. And actually, I had a similar story. What's his name canceled? I don't do no fucking second show Fridays. My God, come on, smoke a cigarette.
Oh, Dice.
Dice canceled. He's like, I don't do no fucking second show Fridays. So Pete calls me up. I was like, hey man, Dice doesn't want to do second show Friday. Can you come headline the room? It was like my first experience headlining the room. And I walk in, they're like, Dice is up there. Don't go up there. He's up there hanging out. And I was like, whatever. It's my room now. I'm gonna go say hello. I love Dice. Yeah. I'm just gonna use this opportunity to tell me I can't go up there. I went up there. I was making a sandwich. I was like, hey, doing that? He's like, who the fuck is this guy in my room right now? I wasn't disrespectful, but I was just like, hey, very excited, and you know, you grew up watching this guy, so it's just like I had to just be in the same room, and that's the first time Pete headlined me there, and it was again, he was so nice to me, he was so good to me as well. For a Houston guy to come in and headline that room, it's like, yeah, about time. That's how I felt, and at the same time, I was sad to see the place go. You know?
Yeah, I had when we were talking about doing our Netflix special, they were like, so dream scenario, what would it be?
Yeah.
Like dream scenario. I said dream scenario? Like dream scenario? We go in and rebuild the Laugh Stop.
Oh my God.
Go into that restaurant and just take it over, take their footprint and rebuild the Laugh Stop. And then shoot a special there. You can shoot a couple. There would be people that would be like, I'll fly down and shoot a special there real quick.
You're 100% right. It would happen, man. That's crazy. I'm sure there's all this stuff in storage at some place.
Yeah, I guarantee you could fucking. But I don't know. I haven't been to. When I go to Houston, I'm so in that little spot of the run to the Improv and the run back.
Right.
That I don't even.
You do the Improv when you're there now. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like, I mean, there's that, and then there's like they just moved like the Comedy Showcase sold, and the Comedy Showcase again was like an iconic club in Houston as well for comedians like really working their way up, and that's again like that's where Ralphie May started. T-Sean Shannon started there.
Yeah.
I mean, there was like there's such a long list of names of guys that came out of there. So man, there needs to be another spot there. There needs to be.
Yeah,
I think
Houston was such a scene.
it was such a scene, man. Especially
People
that.
don't understand.
Before that, it was Spellbinders too. Spellbinders. Dude. Do you remember that spot? It was like in the mid '90s, and I was trying to get in there as a fucking 15-year-old, and they were like, "Yeah, you got to send us a cassette, like literally a cassette tape of your stand-up." I was like, I don't have that, so I was just like doing my jokes in a fucking thing, trying to submit that to get into the club.
Yeah.
And Bill Hicks was a big part of that place. Dana Carvey was coming in there all the time, and they were always like really good friends, and admired each other as stand-ups. But Sam Kinison started there, and with the what is it, Workshop Comedy Club, and there was like 5-6 comedy clubs in the early 80s and throughout the 80s, and then it was Left Spot and Left Stop, and then the Comedy Showcase, and then the Improv. It was just a lot of clubs, and now it's just basically one and a half. Like, to me, the other one's outside of the city, and so it's just sad to see such a big place missing out on so much, for sure.
What was it like growing up in Houston? How much like what was it like? What was your childhood like? Was it, because it feels like it was rough. I know that you got into some side hustles.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, what was that? Because like that, from my perspective, I would say I had probably a very privileged upbringing, meaning private schools,
right?
Not like, but mostly my high school was all predominantly Cuban,
right?
But it's just it's like there wasn't a separation. I didn't see a difference between Cuban and white, and it just didn't.
Right.
What was that like in Houston?
Yeah, so to go from I had a mixture of both, right? So in Kuwait, I had that private school, that that experience, and then coming to Houston and being in like public school ESL class, and it was just very, very different. And so, to have that where you need to make money, you need to provide for yourself, you need to like just regular things in high school that I wanted to have, like going to dances, or just going out and doing this and that, or hanging out with my friends, going to the arcade. Like, you need some money for that. So it was just very traditional. So my dad died. Once he passed away, his good friends in Houston gave me a job I was 14. Gave me a job at their Cook Road Mini Mart. It was like straight stereotypical thing.
That's the crazy, like,
in the hood. Like, I learned all the bad habits there. Like everything, smoking. We learned about weed. Learned about stolen TVs. I learned about people would show up like, listen, can I get some milk? I got a stolen TV out there. Like, what? What kind of TV is it?
Is that ingrained like this? By the way, everything I'm going to say about Palestinians comes out of absolutely knowing nothing.
Yeah.
But it seems like the Palestinian way is like you become a man really young,
right?
And you have to hustle.
Yes.
Like I don't know anything about Palestine. I only know like a few Palestinians, but it was like, yo, we don't have a home. We're gonna make it. We're gonna hustle. We're not gonna be beaten down.
They have an entrepreneurial spirit.
That's what I meant to say.
I was visiting my cousins recently. We're in the middle of the village in Burin, right outside of Nablus, and I'm sitting in the car, and I look over to my right. I was like, is that a little baby driving that car? Like, I swear to God, I was like, is that a baby? Like, I said baby. Is that a baby? And my cousin was like, yeah. I was like, what? Pull up a second. We pull up, and I look over. It's a child. A fucking child driving this vehicle. I'm like, how are you really about to drive, or are you just about to park? He's like, no, I'm driving. I was like, how old are you? He was like, 9. I was like, 9? And then his dad gets in, shuts the door. He's like, bye. And he drives off in the village. And it's like, it's a village. There's no fucking roads.
Yeah.
And you're on mountains. Like, this kid's like, see y'all later. Brrr, just going up. I'm like, what the fuck? So they do get involved very early. And I had a job when I was 14, and I've never had a job interview my whole life. It was just like, they know you, family, give this kid a job. I worked there for like 6 months. Thank God I quit, and then that place got robbed like 2 weeks later after I quit. I barely missed it. I mean, it was so bad. I was selling fake Rolexes and Movados and Tag Heuers to all these drug dealers in the neighborhood. I'd put on fake Versace sunglasses, and they'd walk in and be like, damn, Mo, those are some dope-ass sunglasses. I'm like, yeah, last pair, man. He's like, you want to sell them? I was like, yeah, how much? $125. And they bought them. I was like, damn, I could make this into a business.
Yeah.
And every time it was the last pair. Man, that's a nice watch. I know, man. It's the last one. It's the last one I got. For real? Yeah. And I would just sell it. By the end of the week, everybody's wearing the same shit, and they would come back upset. You told me this is the last pair you had. Fucking Dwayne has the same shit on I have on. I was like, look, man, I got this new Movado. It's one of a kind. I'm telling you, I'm not bullshitting. It's the only one I'm gonna have of this. And they'd be like, all right, I'll take it. I would just sell so much there, and I ended up. My mother had a job at Taco Cabana. You know, it was like in the mall. Like that's what she was doing. And she got me a job at this place called Chicken Etc. I was 14. I fucking shouldn't be working, you know, much less doing that all under the table. And then being at the mall, this lady who my friend actually worked for she was like taking pictures for the Easter Bunny. You know, people come in and take pictures of the Easter Bunny. She was like, oh man, he has a great attitude. He's funny. Maybe we should make him the Easter Bunny. I was like this Muslim Easter Bunny at the mall, 14 years old. So I had that kind of jobs. And then I worked at a flag place. My mom made me get a job after I graduated. I was like, Mom, be a comedian, just chill out, just give me time. And she's like, no, you need a job. So I ended up running a flag store. So
flags?
Yeah, flags. Import, export of flags, like a distributor for flags. Yeah. And I worked there for like 18 months, and I was still going on the road, and I'd come back, and I was trying to get fired forever. But 9/11 happened right when I was working there, and George W. made an announcement like, hey, if you need to display your patriotism by buying an American flag. You remember?
Yeah.
And so everybody didn't even know the flag market existed, you know, and everybody needed flags. So we had like 20,000 U.S. flags and 20,000 flagpoles. Flagpoles have been there fucking forever. You had to blow the dust off of it, and people were coming, I need an American flag, like, and I got to give it up for the guy who owned the place. He never raised it $1. Like, he was selling it still at wholesale prices when he could have been gouging like crazy.
Really?
And we sold out so much, and it's Texas, right? So these people were calling nonstop, and I'm out of everything American flag, anything that has an American flag on it. People come out, I need an American flag. I was like, man, I'm out. What do you want me to do? Like, you want me to stitch something for you? Like, no, I need an American flag. Well, I have an American flag with John Wayne on it. He was like, I'll take it. I was like, selling these fucking things. I have an American flag with the Native American on it. I'll take it. You know, they'll take anything. Robert Lee flag with American flag. I'll take it. They didn't give a fuck. It was sold out. Don't tread on me. Civil War flags. Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'm like, these guys. Betsy Ross. Hell yeah. I was like, no, don't do this. So we sold all of those.
I'll take a Sixers jersey.
100%. 100. Bro, it was so insane. I swear to hand to God, man. This guy walks in. I need the American flag. I was like, bro, I don't have anything. There's nothing. I don't have anything for you. You're too late. You missed the ship. And he wouldn't take no for an answer. I was like, well, I have a Liberia flag. The stripes are just switched, but the same colors. And instead of 50 stars, it's just one big white star in the middle of a blue square. He was like, I'll take it. I was like, this fucking guy's walking around like America forever. I was like, it's a Liberia flag.
General butt naked.
I sold all of those.
Oh my God.
It was crazy. It was absolutely madness.
What is
in turn, I wrote a whole bit about it in the special. It's like one of my favorite things.
What is being Palestinian like? Like, what is, like, I'll tell you from my perspective, being Irish, Irish German, every time the family gets together, we're drinking, it's beers, all the guys go out in the garage, we go to my Nana's house, we tell stories about their dad, but drinking's around us, and there's a weird connection to Ireland that none of us really have,
right?
But we believe it's like our connective.
But you do,
yeah.
You know, like this is an interesting like side fact, but scientists found out that DNA hold memories.
Yeah.
So you're having feelings, you're having these like sensations and this connection that is innately inside your bloodstream. Like, it's there. You don't even know that it's there, but you feel like that's home. That's where your soul came from. Something. So that's there. But being Palestinian is one of the hardest things you could be. because there's so much misinformation out there.
So much misinformation.
So much misinformation. There's also there's this like taboo of talking about who you are. It's like very difficult to have a regular conversation without people having these, images in their head of what you are and where you come from. And quite frankly, we're kind of victims of what the British Empire did at the time, So it's like we are displaced peoples.
So break down what happened to Palestine.
I mean, it's hard. It's a long story, but
Palestine was, and by the way, if I'm saying something where you go, well, that's part of the misinformation, or that's let me know. But like, Palestine was Israel, correct? Or Jerusalem? Wait,
right? Yeah, exactly. So you want?
I don't even fucking know anything, man.
So. Yeah, so it's again. This is where it gets slippery, man. Man, boy, let me tell you, man, we're on slippery slope on this one, buddy, boy. Yeah, Bert brought it up. The damn Irish Germans would just bring up anything, weren't they? So, it was just Arabia. First of all, it's like all just this, a free land, and people were there. It was under Ottoman rule as well at the time where this all happened, right? And the British Empire took over and sliced all these different parts. Like France had Lebanon, and it's still different parts.
Istanbul, Constantinople.
Yeah. Are you rapping right now?
That's a song by some band. That's all I remember from that band.
We can't talk about this seriously. We can't talk about it at all. No, it was just, it existed there, and then there was like a time where the Jewish people wanted their own state. And basically this territory, which is Palestinian territory, was just given to the Jewish people, or Zionists.
Yeah.
And they created their own country around that. And what they say is that this was Israel like thousands of years ago. So this really belongs to us. But there was like several countries in the running. I think Uganda was in the running.
Really?
Interesting enough, Argentina was in the running. There's like 2 or 3 other countries. Bottom line is that Palestine was given to the Zionist or Jewish peoples to migrate there to create their own country. Well, that's a problematic thing because you have people living there, and this whole idea of like there was nobody there. It was an empty land of so and so. It was like, yeah, it was also like, the 30s, 40s, when it became a state in 45 or officially in 48, it was late 40s. Yeah, there were farmers, bro. Yeah, there was a lot of empty land, I'm sure, but it was owned by somebody. So it was a very slippery thing, and a lot of people were displaced because of that, taken out of their homes and to create other homes for other peoples. But that's problematic. It's like somebody coming into your house right now, Bert, and be like, listen, we need a home, and thank you for your sacrifice. Have a nice, I don't know what you're going to do, but thank you. You got to move. So there was just, it's a problematic thing. You can't just do that without acknowledging that this is problematic and it needs to be resolved amicably and figure out a way to coexist. Unfortunately, it's not what happened, and you have all this now, and it's a sick thing because it's so sad because I hear all these wonderful stories of my grandfather playing cards with Jewish people, Christians. That land is, many faiths exist there. Muslims, Christians, and Jewish peoples have always existed in that area, and they've always coexisted very well in that. I mean, not always, but definitely in that time, from what I was told from my own family, from my own grandfather, is that it was like Christmas trees were around. People would wish each other Merry Christmas, and Muslims would wish that for them, and then Hanukkahs would come around, and they would have that relationship. And specifically, Jewish peoples and Muslim people have so many similarities in their holidays, lunar calendar, all these different things where they really bonded, fasting and what have you. So it's very sad to see it what it is today.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very depressing to see what it is today. A wall being up, separating families is disturbing. And the way it is disturbing. So even talking about this is difficult, but at the same time, it needs to happen.
It's difficult.
It needs to be able to be yourself.
Because there are people who assume that it then becomes like teams.
Right.
Like you're going like, well, if he's Palestinian, then clearly he believes that we need to take down.
Yes.
We did a episode of Trip Flip. I'm being dead serious when I say I mean, I knew there was problems in Israel and there was problems
Palestinian
with Palestinians.
yeah.
And I knew that. We did an episode of Trip Flip. Our director was a director, executive producer was Jewish, and we got a dude, a Palestinian dude, who was dating a white chick. But I can't say I don't see race. That is, I think, in fact, racist when you say that.
Yeah.
You should see race, I guess. I don't know. I don't even know
I
what
can
to say anymore.
identify. I could look at somebody and be like, "Oh, he's from,
Yeah.
he's from Guadalajara." You know, like I could tell.
But I didn't realize there was conflict, and then it was. I mean, it was. I'd never seen anything like this in my life. I guess there was tension between our director and this cast guy, the guy we brought, and it was based off the guy felt one thing. I don't know if that was accurate. I didn't see that even. But all of a sudden it escalated into literally a religious war between these two guys.
It's not religious, though. That's what irritates me. It
it's
shouldn't
not?
be. No, it's not a religious thing. It's a matter of property, you know?
Yeah.
There's a matter of like, hey, I had to leave my house for you, and then there's like international law that it's in place that's being broken but still continue to go. And then if I talk about it, you're vilified for it. You know, you're like,
It's
look
hard-
at this
yeah.
guy, he's anti-Semitic. I'm like, bitch, I'm Semitic. I'm genetically Semitic. I can't be anti-me, motherfucker.
That's a great.
I can't.
That's a
What are you
great
talking-
title
this
for
is
an
not-
album.
yeah, it's
Genetically
like-
Semitic.
Oh, that's actually good.
Genetically
Enjoy my
Semitic.
next Netflix special, Genetically Semitic.
Yeah, you
That's not
can't
bad.
talk
That's not
about it
bad.
because it's almost like it's
But
almost
it's fucked up, man. It's like, look, we need to have this conversation and just be cool about it. Like, it's not a religious thing. It's not anything like that. It's just a human rights thing. It's just like, yo, what do I want for my brother? I want for myself. Like, I really mean that when I say that. And it's very frustrating because we do get along, but you have all this other discourse around it to create the separation. So those people that are in higher power to make more money and to do their thing. I mean, that's really what it comes down to me. Same
Yeah.
thing in America that's happening today. You know,
Dude.
all this like pollution of information and then creating separation. That separation is gonna get you to conquer more and get more. You know, so it's just it makes me sad. It just makes me sad. I just want to be able to have like an honest conversation and just be cool. Like, can't we just hang out and just talk?
Yeah, it's these two guys that became a religious war. These two guys, like it was
Yeah.
fucking bad. It
And
was really bad, and and it got to the place where I won't say anyone's names, but the Jewish guy was like, I knew from the second we picked you this was gonna happen, and he was like, I saw the way you were looking at me, and I was like, oh my god, literally, I'm so far removed.
Yeah.
The Jewish guy looked more Palestinian than the Palestinian guy, in my opinion.
Right. You don't even.
I was
But that happens all the time.
Sarah Silverman's jokes was
Oh, I love
what
Sarah.
Sarah Silverman's joke was I mean, Palestinians and Israelis, it's like sweet potatoes and yams. I can't tell them apart.
She's right.
By the way, she probably would denounce that joke now, as woke as she is, and go,
Yeah.
when I said that, I
Oh
apologize.
no,
She's-
she wouldn't. I hope she wouldn't.
She's dude.
That's a funny thing. That's really.
I thought
funny
that
thing
was
to
fucking.
say.
I think
Yeah.
Sarah's funny as fuck.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
but she's outstanding. I get that all the time. Like, oh, you look like you're my peoples, you know. And I'm like, yeah, I'm. I already know where this is going. And she's like, are you from Israel? I was like, yeah, I'm Palestinian. And she's like, yeah, you know. But well, and then it becomes a whole conversation. But honestly, very rarely I've ever had like a super heated negative conversation.
Yeah.
Unless you're just, you're just a hard-headed person. That doesn't come down to Jewish, Palestinian, nothing. And really what I want to say is that when you have so many years that go by with something that's unresolved, just illnesses come from that, right? It's like having a bad relationship with your parent, like your mother or father. If you don't resolve it right away, so many issues linger. Then years go by, and you have children. Your children's children have children, and it's like, oh, tell me stories about your grandfather. Ah, fuck that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's what happened. And that's what I feel has happened. So much time has gone by without real dialogue, without conversation, and so many things that transpired. So therefore, there's going to be illnesses that come from that experience, and they're going to leak into it for many years to come. So that's where I get sad. I'm like, oh man, so much time has gone by without a true resolve and without respect, and this is where we're at now. That's what it feels like. So, and the only thing I can do is have good relationships, have positive interactions, and hold my own personal feelings aside and continue to have dialogue, because in the end, that's the only way anything is going to get resolved. If we're both not talking to each other, nothing is going to work.
Your energy is so positive and so
Thank you, man.
and so playful. It's like it's like Donnell. When we talk about Donnell,
Yeah.
Donnell might be one of the most playful guys in the world.
Yo, I
Patrice
love
was
it.
a playful guy.
Yeah,
Like
I
just-
never had I didn't get to interact with Patrice.
Oh, he would have
yeah.
loved
I
you.
would have loved to meet him.
Patrice, I think Patrice took a liking to anyone that was like, I'd say outside the norm. I'd say immigrant is like Patrice immediately felt like that. He liked that underdogs. Like he loved Russell Peters.
Oh, that's funny.
Like that from the second he met Russell Peters, he loved that guy. So we went to we were in Scotland. Me, Patrice, and Voss were in Scotland.
Amazing.
And
Voss, Rich Voss.
yeah, Rich Voss, and Russell Peters is young. I mean, he was probably had been through the rounds, but he was still young, and he was doing a room like maybe 200 seats in Scotland. And Patrice was like, we got to see this guy, and I was like, okay. I was really young. I was like 26 at the time,
That's so
27,
cool.
and we went in to watch. He loved Russell Peters, but I think Patrice
nice
would have loved
dude.
you, man.
I would love to meet him too.
He would have loved busting your balls
Yeah,
too.
oh yeah, all day. And that's when I learned playing the dozens too. It's like
Yeah.
that was freaked me out, because like when I was walking to school in Houston and I see all these black guys together talking shit about each other's mothers. I mean, Arabs, bro, we take that seriously. You talk about each other's mothers, this is war, bro.
Yeah.
It's like, what'd you say about mom? Like, it's just fucking jihad comes out. The jihadi comes out of you, and you're going back home to collect the army, and you're coming back, and just
You
your
don't talk
family's
about
honor.
moms
You don't talk about mother's honors, bro. That's a huge thing,
For
bro.
real?
Huge thing. You talking about somebody's mamas, and I'm walking to school. It's like, your mama's so fat, she needed a boomerang to put on a belt. I was like, what did he say about his mother? Oh, I'm just waiting for fucking bloodshed. You know what I mean? Like, you can't. You
Yeah.
can't, and that's where I learned the dozens. I was like, oh, that's how you survive out here. This is just a game where they play with each other. And it always does escalate. Somebody, whoa, what'd you say? And it becomes a whole situation. That's why roast battle, they don't have mothers. That's one of the rules in roast battle, right?
Really?
That you can't talk about each other's mothers.
Really?
That's more, I think so. Yeah, that's one of the rules.
Dude, those guys are brutal. Did you see
Brutal.
Did you see the Instagram post that Roast Battle posted?
Which one?
It was fucking.
Which one?
They posted the notes comedy. They had to take it down. They posted the notes Comedy Central gave them,
Oh my God.
and they were like, please. The notes were funnier than whatever the joke could have been.
Well, I want to see this.
Please remove any references to Jews being hatched and not born. That is indefensible. Please take out any rape, all these positive references to rape. It was so fucking
Jesus.
funny that they took it down immediately. But it was
Yeah.
the notes Comedy Central gave them were funnier than the jokes could have been. Dude, let's take a second
Yeah.
and celebrate black men.
Yes.
I don't know what it is, and you spend a majority of your time on tour with two of the funniest in the world.
Yes.
But there's something that, like, with all the fucking shit black men have to go through in this world,
Right.
there's something that I don't know what it is. I absolutely, Segura and I do this. We love black men more than white men
You are
all day fucking long. Donnell and Red taught me about black men. They taught me about black people. I didn't know shit. I literally was ignorant. They were like, I remember I got into a fight with this woman named Lunell.
Yeah.
I didn't even get in a fight. I guess I was talking to her, but she was yelling at me. And Donnell was like, son, she's talking to you. And I was like, she's yelling. He goes, stop getting your feelings hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
You're getting fucking feelings hurt
Yeah, yeah.
over a person talking to you.
Yeah, that's Arab. That's why I relate to black folks. That's why I have a lot of black friends. Is because we're the same. Like, you think we're yelling at each other, having a horrible conversation. I'm like, no, I just was saying that I want Skittles from the store. You know, like, what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, روح هناك كمان مرة خلصني بدنا نروح نسوي كمان شغلة. I'm like, why are you yelling at each other? I'm like, no, we're just talking about when we're gonna meet up later. What do you mean?
Yeah.
So I related to that. So I mean, just relate to them. It's like it's my brothers, you know, like once
Yeah.
they find out, because they don't know, right? So I talk about my special. I almost got jumped by this black gang, and they were like, Jose, what the fuck you doing in my neighborhood, Jose?
Yeah.
And this neighbor better turn your bitch ass around, Jose.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, man, my name is Muhammad. He was like, oh man, salam alaikum, brother, shit. Oh, my bad, you know, cool, man, cool. We become friends.
Assalamu alaikum, my brother.
When I was touring in South Africa, bro, people were just like, I was in Durban. And I was about to walk out. No, Cape Town. I was about to walk out and go buy some cigarettes. At like it was after midnight, and the security guy was like, "No, bruh, you can't walk out there and like buy. I go get the cigarette for you, bruh. Don't worry." Like,
Yeah.
I was like, "Bro, just chill the fuck out." I had a shirt that's written in Arabic. It's called. It said "Mu'min," which means believer, and I put on a kufi cap. Right, just put it like a skull cap. Just put it on, and I just was walking out. At that time, I just had a little goatee too. I didn't even have this beard, and I was just walking down the street. I disappeared for several hours because I ended up smoking weed and hanging out with these guys in like the slums. I was just like, I didn't know where I was walking. I was just walking. People were just like, "Salam alaikum, bro." I was like, "Wa alaikum salam." Sitting on milk crates, fucking smoking Durban poison and just hanging out. And then I came back. I swear to God, the security guard was about to call the authorities. Like he thought
You got killed.
he thought like Bangkok got me or some shit. Like
Yeah.
he thought that I was just like gone, kidnapped. He was horrified. I come back stoned as shit, no cigarettes. Like what happened? So that's
You're wearing a World Cup hat.
World Cup. But I was
Shit got crazy, man.
Shit got crazy, man. Got fucking pet lions with me coming back, bro. It was nuts out there. No, so that's I feel very safe. Like from my background, like I can just go in and just and just like we can bond with black folks. Like it's just like it's this thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just this bond.
There's black men. I love the way black men take care of their clothes.
Right.
Like Donnell's. Like I remember watching Donnell press his pants,
Hilarious.
and I was like, I. There's so many huge differences, like that are just cultural, where you just
because
go,
they
like,
have to be so much better at everything.
I don't think you
Have to.
realize when you're white just how easy life is. Like you just go, oh, it's rough for me. Like not all white guys. I'm definitely not
for
talking
sure.
to all white guys listening. I'm talking about me. But like I went through life going like, yeah, I've had my struggles, and then I remember Donnell had a joke about waiting for his dad to pick him up, and his dad never showed up. And I was like, it was the most intense joke. It was funny as fuck. But I was sitting there going, I don't know anything about a struggle.
Right.
Like, I think I fucking.
It's a blessing, bro.
I'm hanging out with Donnell and Red tonight. I'm gonna be getting fucking wasted.
He said Donnell wanted me to come crash that and
You should come by. You should come by. You should come by.
So I want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to come by. I want to see you cook. I want to see what's on the menu.
I have no idea. Well,
I'll cook, man.
Can I tell you, being very candid?
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I know I'm saying this out loud. You can't. You're in a lose-lose situation these days with the media and the public.
Yeah.
So when I make a meal for two black guys, everyone I make something cultural.
Right.
Like with Joe Coy, we're trying to find a Filipino dish
Yeah.
that I can make for him. But if you make if I made a black meal for two black guys, it looks racist. So you're like, well, fuck, I can't make anything.
I'm more worried about the seasoning, to be honest with you. I'm like, don't try. Like, if you try to, I know Middle Eastern cuisine like really, really well. Like,
Yeah.
One of the things that we fled the war with was a stack of recipes that have been pieced together from different papers.
Really?
Like generations in my family that my mom sent with my sister, right? So it's just like,
Wow, out of
so
all
you
the
try to make
things
me
you
lentil
bring.
soup. I'm like, motherfucker, you better garnish it with cilantro. I want to see some peppers. I want to see some shaved carrots. And
Yeah.
it better be right. I'd rather you serve me a burger. Like, this is the best burger you've ever had.
Well, I
bro.
think
Like, that's what I want.
I think. Well, that is.
So white people me like, hey man, I've been braising this beef and I've been smoking this beef
Yeah.
last 12 hours. Yeah, that's the shit I want from you. Don't try to make me like mensef, some like yogurt sauce with lamb and stuff. And you're like, I see the yogurt sauce all broken and not right. I'm like, man, this guy is gonna kill me, man.
Dude, I'm going through
I
a huge
can't.
lamb phase right now.
Are you?
I'm going through a huge lamb phase.
It's a big thing. First time I went back to do shows in the Middle East, like it was my big return.
Yeah.
I did shows at the Palace in Amman, Jordan, and it's the name of the theater. So my family had me over, my dad's side, who I barely kind of talked to, but they had me over, and they slaughtered an entire lamb, and they put it over. It's a very traditional Arab dish, and they put the entire lamb over this massive bed of rice. There's all these like nuts and almost spices and veggies. It's the most like the entire lamb is on top of the rice, and you just peel it off, and it's been cooked underground for hours and hours and hours, and just it's unbelievable.
Dude,
What got you in the lamb?
I've been grilling a lot. I mean, I'm doing the cooking show, and so I've been making a lot of different stuff. But I've been grilling a lot, and I've been wanting something to take a while.
Yeah.
And so we went out to Solvang, out to wine tasting with my family, and the guy the chef came out and he was like, "What are you in the mood for?" And I go, "I don't know, man. I'm bored with what I've been eating." And he goes, "You should try our lamb shank." And I went, "What's? I don't think I know what that is." And he goes,
"Really?
Oh my god." Brings it out.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he was a black guy. He was a black guy. Oh my god. And so he brings out a lamb shank, and I'd had like ossobuco. I've had derivations of it, and I was like, "Oh, this is fucking amazing." And then he's like, "Oh my god, yeah. Oh, he was like, lamb's my favorite." He was like, "I make a great bolognese sauce out of it, or a ragu."
Right.
And he was like, "You got it." Oh, and so he started talking to me.
Too. It's really good in burgers.
They have it in New Zealand. They have a thing called a Ferg burger. It's a lamb burger. It's one of the best burgers I've ever had in my fucking life.
I like mixing ground beef with the ground lamb together.
Yeah,
gives it that fattiness. When you cook it out. It's fucking amazing.
I made 18 lamb shanks the other day.
18 lamb shank.
18 lamb because I had a big party.
Yeah.
So I put them in red wine, veggies, carrots.
You went French with it.
What, dude? Everyone was shitting on me because it was taking so long. And then when it was ready, everyone was like, "This is fucking amazing." I was like, "Yeah, I got 2 lamb shanks in there. I'm having for lunch, dude." Yeah. I'm going through a huge lamb phase. I always say I'm going through a huge something phase.
Yeah. No, lamb is like. By the way, like most lamb that you buy in America is going to be halal. So most...
What's that?
Halal. It's like slaughtered by Muslims.
Really?
So, yeah. So because Muslims eat so much lamb that most of the slaughterhouses are going to be owned by Muslims. I think it's like 90% of the lamb in America. I think some crazy percentage is by that. So that's number one. Number two is that as far as like when I was back in Amman again... My uncle, they cook it underground. So they get this huge pot and it has several layers. So they put one layer is all veggies, one layer is meat, right? So and then they have veggies at the top. So it's all like mixing together. Spice it up like crazy and you cook it underground for like 4 or 5 hours. If you're in a rush, you can pop it out in 3, but it's better just to be patient.
Oh God.
I'll
fuck up my landscape just for that meal.
I'm telling you, it's easy to do. You just dig in deep. You get a huge metal pot, and it comes in trays that has handles at the top. And I'll show you the video. You just put it in there, and you just seal it. It becomes this like vacuum seal situation. And you got to season it, obviously, really, really well. But when you bring it out, man, it's all firewood under there, and it's been cooking for hours and hours. You have the smoke in it. Bro, it's... like when you're taking it out, you'll see it just fall off the bone just by the sheer of you moving it. Yeah. That's how we cook it. Mensef is like to me, one of my favorite dishes of all time, and you'll never see it. It's basically a yogurt sauce, which is so rare. It's so hard to make this particular yogurt sauce with lamb, and it's the most amazing thing you ever had. I fed it to my friend Ray, who's black in Houston, and he was like, "What is this? Milk and meat? Yo, what the fuck is this milk meat?" I was like, "Ray, just trust me, bro. Just eat it." And he had it. He was like, "God damn, this milk meat is delicious." You've never, it's obviously like a huge. If you're Jewish, like if you're kosher, you never have milk and meat together.
Oh yeah, obviously, yeah.
Never work out. That's something that they won't take. That's something they won't have. But it's like it's mensef. It's called mensef.
I've got it. I want to go have that. Can I go get that at a restaurant today?
I don't know restaurants like that have it here in LA, but I'll look for you, man. I'll tell you for real. I'll tell you if it's legit or not, like right out of the gate. And it's usually like a Friday dish. Like if it's a restaurant, they usually will make it once a week. It's not something that you can get on a daily basis. If you ever, when you go overseas, you go to Amman, Jordan, bro. I will send you to this restaurant, this small restaurant called Jerusalem Restaurant. It's in the middle of downtown Amman, Jordan, bro. You will eat there every day, and it's not a very nice place, but they're dressed as if it's bow ties and suits, and you're just like, oh my god, they don't really match the environment. But you walk in and it's the best Arab food you will ever have in your life, and it's like for like $5. It's like you're having 100. Like if you go to a restaurant, some way open up a restaurant of Middle Eastern cuisine he's been studying, he'll charge you $50 for that dish, and you'll go over there, you pay not even $7. You'll have the best meal you ever had in your life.
Do you ever think sliding doors scenario, like what would have happened to you had you guys stayed?
I think about that all the time. Yeah.
Like, what would you be doing? Like,
I think about like if my dad was alive. That's what I think about mostly. I think about that as like I'd probably been very rich. My father was a telecommunication engineer. Like he knew everything about phones. We've probably been involved in the mobile industry somehow. And And yeah, probably
You'd be
would have been
driving
an
on a Range
entrepreneur.
Rover with a periscope in the front with your 3 friends.
I'd be,
we fuck pussy.
That's what we do, habibi.
Dude, those are my
Where you
favorite
going?
guys.
Visiting my third wife. Good times.
Those are my favorite guys to go, like, when you go on Periscope. That's all that's on Periscope these days.
I've never been on Periscope.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Bro, can you talk to these guys? No. I've been wanting to talk to these motherfuckers
Are they Armenians,
forever.
though? Are they Arabs? I don't know.
Dude, can I just show you my favorite thing in the world to do?
Yes, please.
So Periscope's like a dead app.
Yeah.
It's like, it was something that came out.
Yeah,
but
it was a thing for a second. Yeah.
I was really big on it for... Like, they put my name on the front page, so I got a ton of followers. Brody Stevens is always on it.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, that's where I learned about it, was from Brody.
If you go to... It's fucking the middle of night in Kuwait.
Oh, they're from Kuwait?
Dude, they're from everywhere. Saudi Arabia, Oman, Yemen. Look, it's still so popular there. These are all the red ones are people that are live right now, and it's the middle of the fucking night.
That's the best time, though.
Dude, where is
That's so funny.
where would a bunch of Palestinian guys be?
I mean,
in Syria?
No.
Beirut? Damascus?
Syria. You're really
I really
white.
don't know anything. I really don't know anything.
Where would Palestinians be? In Syria? You know what's going on in Syria right now, bro?
No, what's going on in Syria?
So
what's going on in Syria? I'm being dead serious. What's going on in Syria? Dude, I live the life of a bull mastiff. I don't really understand anything. I just sleep, wake up, and eat.
The entire country's been decimated. I don't want to even laugh and stuff. This is terrible.
Are you serious?
This is terrible.
Okay, well, Syria's Periscope game isn't that strong.
Yes.
Turkey, Lebanon, Israel. Let's see if we get someone live. But what I do is I go on, dude. So
you can join them while they're live? Is that what you're saying?
Saudi Arabia, these motherfuckers go hard as fuck. I made a joke about it. It's always happened. There's always 4 of them in a Range Rover.
Yeah, a Range Rover.
And they're fucking...
Range Rovers was made for Saudis.
Dude.
For Saudis, that's all they drive. Is like, they want that range.
It's... some of them is them, like, not even, like they're... I don't... they're always... Look, they're always... It's always... them in their car driving
I want to
around.
see this. Oh, yeah, let me see. Yeah, he's definitely Saudi. Can you join them on video?
No, you can, here's the problem. It's problematic because if I share it with my fans and they go on, they think I'm fucking making fun of them. But this guy,
I should have brought my
Burmy
soda
Famer.
They just love watching, seeing what Arabs are doing.
They just drive. Yeah, they do that, and it's
Those
always
guys wild out.
dudes.
Yeah, this is very.
Look at this guy. This
different Palestinian culture. It's very, very different.
I mean, it would be cool. I think it would be cool because it seems like everyone wears the same thing.
Yes,
I think that would be cool.
I did a joke when I was there because I do a lot of shows in the Middle East, and I think it was in Doha in Qatar when I was on stage. And I was just like, yeah, it's cool. You just show up to you don't need a ticket when you go to the cleaners. You just be like, yeah, extra large. And give me the extra large white. They just, here's your extra large. Everybody just sharing each other's clothes.
One of those. I bought one. What's the white? What's the white thing?
Dishdashid. There's different words for it. Dishdashid, galabiye.
I bought one in Zanzibar.
Yeah. It's funny you say Zanzibar.
Why?
Because Most Def, that's all he talks about is Zanzibar.
Dude, have you been?
I haven't. He was like,
fucking amazing.
Man, he every time I see Yassine, he's preaching about Zanzibar. He's going to be like one of their officials, like to tourism there, or like he's going to be a representative for Zanzibar. Dude. He was like, Zanzibar? Like the water? Like the water, son? In Zanzibar? That's all he keeps saying. Dude. And Chappelle's always like, yeah, he's always talking about Zanzibar. We got to go to Zanzibar.
Dude, Zanzibar is fucking amazing. Travel Channel.
Amazing.
Yeah, I was there. I worked Travel Channel for 8 years, so
amazing.
I traveled around the world. Zanzibar was fucking amazing. It was
highly recommend.
Dude. We went out to this island, this private island, that they had these tortoises, these 300-year-old tortoises.
Wow.
And we jumped off a cliff and swam around the island. And then but the only problem is, by the way, I was about to say something that is probably pretty racist. The only problem with Muslims is their beer. They're just not a big drinking people.
Yeah. They don't drink, bro.
And this is a testament to people.
Yeah.
Fuck religion and all that.
Yeah.
Just to people.
Yeah, right.
They had a sports bar in Zanzibar, and so I was like, yeah, let's go to the sports bar.
Yeah.
And so, and I was like, she's like, what do you want to drink? I said, I'll just take a beer. And she goes, oh, we're a Muslim nation. Like, we can't sell beer here.
Yeah.
I go, but it's a sports bar.
Yeah.
She goes, yeah, I know. I said, well, the bar implies that you would have alcohol. She goes, yeah, we don't.
No, we don't.
And I was like, well, you're just like a sports restaurant then, I think, really. She's like, yeah. And then she said to me, she goes, what do you want? Like, what kind of beer do you want? And I said, any beer. She went, all right, give me a second. And she went, and this poor woman probably never bought a beer in her fucking life.
Oh, no.
And she bought maybe $100 worth of beer and put it in my bedroom. The bar was a part of the hotel.
Right.
Put it in my bedroom and then poured one in a cup for me and said, just try to be respectful.
Yeah.
And I was like, what a fucking, like.
That's amazing.
Like, fuck whatever you assume about Muslims, about Palestinians, about anything about anything. Is that they're just people trying to get by and make you happy.
We're very hospitable people.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude.
You feel bad, like, oh, man, let me just get this white guy drunk, man.
Yeah. And I was like, I got fucking wasted. And she was staring at me, like, watching it take effect. And I was like, oh, I might be the perfect person to watch get drunk. Like, I do this better than anyone. Dude.
Or she maybe immediately regretted her decision. Like, this is going to come back to me for sure.
Oh, dude, Zanzibar was fucking awesome, man. It was really.
I can't wait. I really want to visit that country.
Freddie Mercury was born in Zanzibar. I went to his house.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Oh, he's like originally Pakistani. I didn't know he was born in Zanzibar.
Born in Zanzibar. I went to his house. Went to some of the most beautiful restaurants. You could buy beer at most of the restaurants.
Right.
It wasn't like we drank everywhere we went. It was fucking awesome, man. And then these kids at sundown, were jumping off this cliff, off this almost like a pier into the water, and everyone jumps around, and they all do these funny, like it was a real showman, like watching these kids, like just young street kids. I'm assuming.
I know they do that a lot in different countries, that like kids actually make money.
Yeah, these kids were making money doing it, and they got me to do it. They were like, "Come on, you can do it," and I was like, "Okay." And so I jumped off.
With a beer in your hand?
No.
And a lamb shank in the other?
I was stone sober, terrified, because it's really shallow.
Scary.
And you got to land a certain way.
Oh, fuck that.
And there's a certain dive that kids do where your feet and your hands go in first. Uh-huh. And it's a dead man's dive, I think they call it. You see a lot of them.
Why would I do that?
Dude, they do it in Hawaii a lot, too, where they jump like they're going to do a belly flop. At the last second, they're coming in like a belly flop. Yeah. They take their feet and their hands, and their feet and their hands enter the water first, and it breaks the water, and they don't. I'll show you. I gotta show you.
That's horrifying, man.
Dude, it's.
I compressed my vertebrae when I was like in 6th grade.
Wait, how?
I dove into a pool. I couldn't see the shift of the like from 3 foot to 5 feet.
Yeah.
And so, or 5.5 feet, whatever it was, and then I hit the top of my head.
Oh, you
and I was like, I could have. Like all the doctors were like, this kid's a miracle.
Really?
Yeah, they thought, they were like, he should be dead or paralyzed. I was like, I think I was just so young, it was so youthful that, I was able to get through it. I was getting out of the pool, I was like spitting out blood. All the kids are like, oh, it's almost Halloween. This kid's just, he's got blood capsules. I'm like, no, man, my whole body is numb. And I had the wherewithal, just like, I shouldn't move. And I walked back to the apartment, put a towel around my neck, and I walked up to my mom. And I was like, something went really wrong. She's freaking out. Took me to the hospital. They were just like, this guy should have been here with an ambulance. This is crazy.
Really?
Yeah, it was like very traumatic.
Holy
thing
shit,
in my life.
you're so lucky.
So lucky, bro. So that's like one of those where I almost died kind of thing. Yeah, for sure.
I fell off a waterfall one time and landed on my back. And I think about that all the time when I go, that moment where you're like, all right, something's wrong.
Yeah,
this is bad.
Man, I've had Bondi Beach, and
yeah.
So we decided to go out. Me, and my boy, we decided to go out when we were on tour there. We decided to go and just see the sunrise. Excuse me. So we go there, and we're just having a good time. Maybe smoked a little bit and whatever, and we're just chilling. And we were just laughing, having a moment, and we're walking backwards. And I put my hand on his back, just like bam, held his back like that. And we look back behind us, bro. Like a foot away from just accidentally killing ourselves. I was like, never again, bro. Never again. That was like one of the most My whole body's in chills right now. I just, that fucking place was. I can't. Moments like that. That's why like cliffs or cliff diving. I have like a huge trigger with that. Like I'm good, man. I'm just gonna go walk around, put my toe in first, see how the water is, and then slowly get in this ocean. Like no.
Bondi Beach is one of my favorite places in the world, in the entire world.
It's beautiful.
I've had 2 days there, and both of them are my favorite days I've ever had in my life. On my I celebrated my 40th birthday on Bondi Beach in a Speedo with the lifeguards, and we were just playing in the fucking water, body surfing, and it is gorgeous. It's one of the most beautiful beaches in the world, but man, and every time I've been, the water has been icy cold.
It usually is though, right?
Last year I went, I'm going this year to Australia in the winter. I've never been in the winter.
Yeah,
in
Going in June.
And then
it's that place just scares me though.
Australia?
Yeah, Australia. Like the horrible things that are in the ocean. Like they have like for me, I've never been in the ocean in Australia. I will never go in the ocean. No, I'll never. I have a whole thing about oceans. Like no, man, no. Fuck. What do you mean? There's microscopic jellyfish. I need to see this once in my life to never go in the water in Australia. Okay. They said there's microscopic jellyfish that kill you within a matter of minutes. That you need to only see. You can only see them if they were under a fucking microscope.
Oh, fuck that.
Hence the word microscopic jellyfish that murder you within a matter of minutes. Dude, I'm like, I don't need to go in this ocean. I don't need to ever go. I'll see it from a ship, like a really safe ship.
Australia's got a branding issue.
No, they got a branding issue.
They got, when we did an episode there, we had the board of tourism for Australia was with us, and they're like, all right, number one, please don't talk about how many things can kill you down here. And I was like, really?
Why?
Crocodiles, great white sharks, box jellyfish. They've got like 7 of the 10 most poisonous snakes in the world are in Australia. Yeah. They've got 9 of the 10 most poisonous spiders
in the world.
Dude,
yeah.
I just got a text from this guy, a buddy of mine. I say a buddy of mine. I've never met him personally, but a guy on Instagram that I follow, and we talk back and through on Instagram. And he's like, "Hey, when you're in Sydney, can you spend a couple extra days, and I'll take you hunting?" And I was like, "Yes." Immediately, I wrote, "Fuck yes." And then all I heard in my head is Rogan going, "Are you out of your fucking mind? Not only have you never hunted in your life, but you're going to go out in the wilderness, something you're not comfortable with."
In Australia.
Yeah. But this guy, the guy's name's Adam Greentree. He's a beast. I was like, I'll be with him.
Yeah. No, I'd be the guy before we left where I just like have these tights on underneath my pants. I'm duct taping like all the potential creaking, like all my ankles. I can't, man. I have these triggers, bro. I would not fucking make it. I watched 12 Deadliest Animals in the World of Australia before I flew there, and that was it for me. I was like, I'm just gonna golf on this shitty par 3 course in Bondi Beach in 30-mile-an-hour winds, and I'm just gonna smoke a lot of weed and just hang out. And that's where it's at. And I'll just sit at the edge and be like, "How's the water over there, guys? All right, cool." That's it for me. I just don't.
Do you drink alcohol?
Yes, sometimes. Yes.
Are you not supposed to?
I mean, no, you're not. But I've had before. Yes.
Yeah. Is that like a real like?
It's a thing. Yeah. I
didn't know you could. Like, how Muslim are you? Like, are you practicing?
I mean, I'm working very hard at it. Like, here's the thing. Like, are you practicing? Like, it's an entire struggle of existing in this world, right? So there's this, battles that go on inside of you. Like, I do this, I want to drink, I don't want to drink, I have this, whatever you're going through emotionally. It's like, it's what I grew up around, how I'm involved with it, how much did it influence me, how much did I put influence on it. So it fluctuates. It was like a solid 10 years plus. Like, I didn't drink at all basically until my early 20s, and I started drinking, then I stopped. I was like, I don't need to do this. And then I spent 10 years almost just not drinking. I was like, whatever. I smoked weed. Yeah. That's what I do.
Was that okay?
I mean, it's debatable, it really is. And some people who don't know it as well, but I have certain teachers in my life that are, I won't name them now, but they're significant, figures and scholar in theology and in our faith, but yeah, it's debatable. It's been used a long time, but I do have real medical reasons why I choose to do it and over, getting prescription medication from my doctors, which they give me every fucking thing. And I have a thing about pills. I just have this. I hate pills. I don't really.
I think you say I love them because I love them.
I don't. I don't.
I have my cardiologist. I was taking Xanax, but I wasn't taking it. I wasn't taking it often at all, but I would take it if I like. This sounds silly, but like if I was going to go to the movies with my family, sometimes I get panic attacks in movie theaters. So I'd take a Xanax or like half a Xanax, really small dosage.
Right.
My cardiologist told me the last time I went in, he said, "Don't ever do that again. Don't ever take a Xanax again in the rest of your life."
Yeah.
I said, "Really?" He goes, "They're worse than opiates."
Yeah, they are.
I said, "Are you serious?" He goes, "Benzos are worse than opiates, and they turn your brain into fucking glue."
Mush, yeah.
And he's like, "Do not ever take another Xanax." And I was like, part of me wanted to be like, I used to take I used to take a lot of them.
Well, now I'm huffing,
Yeah, but pills are really bad for you.
I just don't. I have a whole thing. I've known people that have had addictions to them, and I've seen what this done to their lives. The same thing about cocaine. I have like a massive trigger with cocaine. Like to me, my rule is that if it grows from the ground and it's like a flower, that's can't be that bad for you. You know what I mean? Something that just
cocaine's the worst drug in the world.
Worst drug in the world. Cocaine and I feel like pills are in that same category. I mean, they have Oxycontin, they have all this shit that's out. All these people are addicted to. And one of the best new tracks that's out right now by Black Thought, who did the music for my special. The Roots did the music for my special. Black Thought and Stro Elliott, shout out. He did this new track called Fentanyl, and it is one of the. I mean, it cuts you to the core, the way he talks about it, the drug industry and whatever. And I have this like massive trigger about it. Like I'd rather, microdose on shrooms than take a Vicodin, for my pain issues. I'd much rather do that.
Oh, marijuana is so much better with pain.
Marijuana, mushrooms, even like at a right dosage to get the right. Like I've done a lot of reading about this, and I'd much rather do that than have something that's been made in a lab, and it's like I just can't fuck with.
Part of me feels like that big pharma, that pharmaceutical industry. The same way you look at like the prison industry is an extension of slavery.
Yeah,
and if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a great documentary. On not to you, on people listening. There's a great. I'm sure you know about this documentary only because you travel with some of the most fucking hilarious, brilliant black men alive. There's a documentary on Netflix called The 13th.
Yeah,
regarding the third. Yeah, it's fucking amazing. But then you start going, oh yeah, the prison system is an extension of slavery.
100%.
I think big pharma is an extension of our country. I hate to say this, I'm a white man and my dad's a white man. I guess you could theoretically clump us into what evil white men, 1% bad white guys. I believe that bad white guy thing, the pharmaceuticals is an extension of that to keep poor people poor, to keep like the same way.
Yeah, I don't even put it in as like race thing. It's like white people this and that. It's just capitalism. It's just money. It's all about greed and how much money you can make. Like I've been watching Narcos like crazy. You watch Narcos? Oh my God. Like I'm learning all my new Spanish from Narcos. I'm like, pinche de ella, la gringuitos de aquí. Like that's what I'm learning the whole time. And I started watching. No, so I watched El Chapo and I see that. I'm like, how much truth is really in this where they being the DEA and the governments that control how much is being funneled into America. Okay, yeah, it's fine. You can get drugs into America this much, and then we'll send it to this neighborhood, and we'll do that. And it happens on a regular basis where they just like, hey, just throw me like 200 kilos every once in a while. We'll just keep the images up, and we'll take a couple of your guns, but you guys can continue to funnel this shit into our communities. That happens on a regular basis.
Oh yeah,
I remember buying weed in Third Ward in Houston. And I was driving by. I don't even know if I should be saying this now that I think about it. But I was just driving by.
Just whisper it.
So I was driving by. I think it was in Third Ward, Houston. I'm not 100% sure on all these facts. But I was driving by. Me and my boy were driving by just to buy a little bit to smoke a J. And I see this police officer talking to the guy that's selling weed in the neighborhood. And I was just like, oh shit, he got busted. But then I look behind him, they're still like breaking down the weed outside on the patio. This guy has his gun, like he's sitting there, they're having a conversation, and I just keep driving. I'm like, let's get the fuck out of here. And we loop back around several minutes later, and he's gone. I'm like, what the hell was that? He's like, they're just telling us to move because, you know, it's being gentrified, and this neighborhood, they're building condos, and we live in these, they call them shotgun homes. They call them shotgun homes because you could take a shotgun from the front door, blast one, and it hits the back door. That's why they call them shotgun homes. And I was like, this is fucking crazy. This is something much deeper here that we're all unaware of.
Yeah.
And it's just like, of course they do that. And the same thing happens with the drugs. Like, how can Xanax and all these pills be so readily available in the streets? Like, so it's normal. How many pills you need? Like, where the fuck are these things coming from? You're just falling off of trucks like so regularly. It's just, I feel like that's it. I don't know, man. I just have a trigger regarding that at all.
I think it's crazy too how all these young rappers are rapping about Xanax.
Yeah, and that's okay.
It's like
Percocet, 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 Percocet. Fucking Tupac is rolling around in his grave right now. Like, what the fuck are you rapping about, mother? What are you saying right now,
dude?
I can't stand that. So yeah, I just think it's perpetuating the problem. I don't. Yeah, some might people say like, well, his art is bringing it to the forefront and to talk about it. Like, are they really? I mean, I think they're just promoting it, unfortunately, and you shouldn't do that. Is
Bill Burr flying over us?
Yeah, but
Jesus Christ! Every time I see a helicopter, I point up to the sky.
Bro,
and I tell my girls, I go, "That's Bill Burr."
Yeah,
and they go,
"He's right about that."
What?
Being able to fly a helicopter, it's the easiest and fastest way to get out of anything that's going on.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you watch Narcos, that's how Pablo Escobar would leave 100% of the time. He would just take his sweet time. They're 15 minutes out. All right, let's get in this chopper and really fuck him up. And he would just leave and land his other spot. It was you could just take off without a runway. It's brilliant.
Oh, dude. Except for the fact that helicopters terrify me. We were in Brazil up by the Kreischer Dreamer statue. Mm-hmm. And so we flew around that, which is, I don't know.
That's got to be an amazing flight, though.
I was so fucking drunk. I don't know.
You know, oh, that's disappointing. You don't remember how dope it was?
All I can remember is the terrifying part. I just said to someone the other day, they go, I said to my cousins, because we went to the Rams game last night. Uh-huh. They go, okay, it was a good game, and it got really right up to the end, but we left early. I said, we should leave early. Yeah. Trust me. Eagles fans, I love you, Philly, but they're fucking lunatics.
Yeah, it's crazy.
My cousins were telling me about, apparently this Eagles fan threw up on a little girl one time, and like I was like,
what that little bitch do though? No, I'm just kidding.
and so we're losing 13 to like 30, terrible. And I said to my cousins, I go, trust me, I think Rams are gonna lose. Let's just get out of here. And then the game started getting good, but we were in the car, and one of my cousins said to me, because I went to the Monday night football game against the Chiefs, where it was like the best game ever played.
Oh, that was. And we stayed. Is that the one they scored like 1,000,000 points?
Yeah, and we stayed until the very end. Uh-huh. And they said that must have been great. I said, I got to be honest with you, I don't remember much of the game. Yeah. But I definitely remember the traffic and trying to get out. And I was like, that. So fuck the game. As good as the game is, that fucking getting out of a game is all I remembered. And so the same goes with this fucking goddamn Christ Redeemer statue. Yeah, it was great. It was great. Just like the pictures you see online. That's all you're seeing is the pictures online. But then we got pulled out. He flew around it, and then he flew perpendicular out to it, or parallel to it, out over the city. And now we're about probably 10,000 feet, and he just stayed. He just
hovered,
just didn't move, just hovered. And I was like, this, I have a fear of heights.
Yeah, me
and
too,
I was like, hey man, and I was like, what are we? He didn't speak any English. Yeah. And I'm like, are we gonna go down? And he's like, jiu-jitsu, whatever the fuck
he said. Are
you
you saying yes or no?
and I was like, are you doing this for me? Do you need me to do this? Like, do you want to drop? You want to, dude? I don't fucking remember a thing about that flight except for us hovering and me being terrified. By the way, that was with the Palestinian guy.
What?
That was what the Palestinian guy was on that
trip.
You
went to Brazil with him?
Yeah, I went on the trip. I like that guy a lot. I really did. Me and him got along really well. He's a great surfer too.
You'll never hear that sentence again. A Palestinian surfer.
He's a great Palestinian surfer. He's probably one of the best.
Probably.
I wonder what his name was.
You'll never see me surf ever.
He was a stud.
You'll never see me surf.
You'll never see you surf?
No, fuck that. Again, oceans. I look like a seal right now. All right, this is not I would be delicious to sharks. I can't fucking do it. I can't do oceans like that, bro.
Next time you go to Hawaii,
what?
You gotta go swimming with sharks.
Bro, I will go swimming with that little net that they put out to make that outdoor pool in the ocean. That's what the fuck I want. I want that net there.
Get in a cage.
Sharks can't
get in a cage and go swimming with sharks in a cage. It's the coolest thing I've ever done in my entire life.
I did swim with sharks, but I did it in Dubai in the biggest
in a mall
aquarium.
Dubai is fucking
that was
great.
The best.
I want more Dubai in this world. No, do they do that? Do they do that in a mall?
What?
They probably the way Dubai works.
The biggest aquarium in the world is in Dubai at the mall.
Oh, I was joking.
No, it is. Yeah,
oh
it's
my
at the
God.
mall. You didn't know?
I love Dubai.
Yeah, it's in the mall. It's at the. I'm trying to think. I don't think it's Dubai Mall. I think it's Emirates Mall. Maybe it was Dubai Mall, one of the two. And you go in and you get this class, blah, 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 and they take you into the aquarium, this massive aquarium with enormous stingrays and sharks. And I did that. Yeah. I did that, but that's because I knew the fucking sharks ate at 2 p.m. You know what I'm saying? They were just like, are they good? Yeah, they just have their feeding right now. They're good. I was like, good. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Let me have the sandwich, and I'll go in there with the sharks.
Dubai
no problem.
Like?
It's incredible, man.
Yeah,
it's absolutely like it's overwhelming.
When you go overseas to to Muslim countries, do you feel it? Do you feel like the way I do, like when I feel like when I go to Florida?
Right. Well, I feel the same way you do when I go to Florida. Hola, ¿cómo está, amigo? ¿Todo bien? All right. No, I feel the same way. I feel like I'm a citizen of the earth, but for sure, I really feel that way just because of how I came up and how my career has gone too as well.
Yeah.
So I just feel like this. That's why I named the special "The Vagabond" because I
love that title.
Thank you, man.
That's a great title.
Thank you, man. So I traveled the world without a passport and feeling like just a citizen of the world, still feeling American, of course, and also my own lineage. But yeah, going to an Arab country, yeah, it's always fun going someplace you can speak the language, you feel them, you definitely there is this like edge and like, oh, it's exciting, what's happening, and yeah, for sure that's there. For sure that exists there.
So fucking cool.
But actually the first time I went back to an Arab country was to Bahrain. And it was my first time going back, and I didn't have a passport. And
I love the song about that place.
The what?
Bahrain, Bahrain. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Bahrain.
This is why my podcast sucks. Yeah. It's because you're telling a beautiful story and I interrupt. Bahrain. Keep going. I'm so sorry. I'm a fucking idiot.
I'm gonna be singing that all week, bro.
Bahrain, Bahrain.
That guy from Periscope shows up. What's going on, guys? Let's do it. Yeah, Bahrain. Yeah. No, man.
I wish I knew more Arab countries because I try to put them in this song. It's not Oman, it's Bahrain.
I was excited about going to this. I was like, man, it's my first Arab country. I'm so excited, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't have citizenship yet. I wasn't even supposed to enter the country. But I was like, fuck, I got to go make this gig. So I just go. And I'm excited. I start speaking Arabic to the guy. I'm like, ahlan wa sahlan, blah, blah, blah. And he took me aside and held me for 15 hours because I spoke Arabic to him. I was in the airport. I was like Tom Hanks in the terminal. I was like getting to know everybody. Yeah, it was crazy. The U.S. military had to call up. I'm like, yeah, this is our guy. He's doing a show. You need to get him out. And 15 hours later, he just threw the little travel document that I had. He was like, go enjoy the oven because it was August and it was 130 fucking degrees outside. But I was stuck there I was sitting on a bench next to a tourist shop watching, thousands of people enter Bahrain, and there was this deer head hanging outside the tourist shop that was motion censored. So every time somebody walked by, it would start moving its mouth to Elvis Christmas songs. So I was next to that fucking thing for like a solid 7 hours. Nothing but hound dog, just fucking Russian hookers walking in. You ain't nothing but hound dog. He's just tourist, and I'm just sitting there like an asshole. So that's when I figured out that my mom tried to warn me about this. She goes, don't speak Arabic to them, especially when you don't have like your U.S. passport or what have you. They'll respect you more that you don't have an accent. You speak perfect English. You'll get what you want.
Really?
And she's 100% right. So I like toil with this, like part of me is like the sadness, like, what's happened to the Arab culture, what happened to them, like psychologically through, British rule and how it's been pieced up and split apart and how they respect you more if you don't have and an accent, and you speak English clearly, versus when you're trying to communicate with them in their own native tongue, is you get less in certain parts.
That's crazy.
So it's very, very sad. Very, very sad.
You must have a lot of that emotional blueprint that where you talked about it. You talked about it. I don't know where you talked about this, but about going and when you had your first passport, your first green card, and the guy goes, "All right, you're good." And you're like, "Hold on 1 second."
Yes,
like that stinks. That
I said that on Breakfast Club. Yeah, it was the first time
How pissed
when I
off
had
were you
my U.S. passport.
Were you that Charlemagne the God wasn't there?
I wasn't pissed off. He was in South Africa.
Fucking, let me tell you something. Angela Yee did not do the best job in that interview. I'm just telling you right now, as a fan of the Breakfast Club,
for sure.
I know that Angela Yee would call me out. I'll call her out. I did not like her interview in that interview.
Yeah, I don't like, what is she talking? I know. She went deep on a couple of things.
I was just like, fucking...
I went there.
What the fuck is she not have a Netflix password for? She makes a ton of fucking money. How does she not have a Netflix? By the way, she never addressed the fact that she doesn't have a Netflix. She doesn't have a Netflix.
Yes.
Her brother's got 4 of her TVs.
Yes.
She doesn't have a fucking Netflix account.
It's infuriating.
Let me tell you something. Bring me on there, and I will pay for her Netflix subscription in perpetuity for the rest of my life. I will give Angela Yee a fucking Netflix account.
Why she has to get her own fucking account? Why do you have to
fucking believe that?
Yeah,
I was blown away.
Me too. I felt the same way.
By the way, I don't know my password, but
I don't know either. It's already logged in. I'm fucked if I don't remember it. But I'm saying, it was just when I mentioned, like, when I first got my U.S. passport, I was actually coming back from Australia. It was my first trip back with a U.S. passport, with an actual passport. I didn't have a fucking passport, so I just came back and he
explain
scanned
that
it.
to them listening real quick. So
you can see this in my special again, but I had a United States
paraphrase, so you're not taking any of the fun out of it.
Sure. So it's you watch it. It's fucking great anyway. I'm very proud of it. So I had for years as a refugee. When you come to America as a refugee or asylee, in my case, I'm stateless because I'm Palestinian. I'm stateless, so I don't have a country. Like you don't have a passport, so you're like in limbo. So how that happened? What they do is they give you a refugee travel document that in the 1951 Geneva Convention they created this travel document that allows refugee to travel while they're seeking asylum from those countries. If that makes sense.
That makes sense. It makes sense because I didn't understand that the first time I heard you say it. Meaning, I think I heard you say it. I don't know. I've watched so much of your shit lately that I don't know what I've seen and not seen or where I saw it.
Right.
But yes, because Palestine is not something.
It's not a state.
You have no home.
Yeah. So I don't. Yeah. On paper, I'm stateless. So refugees in particular, when you come here as a refugee, whatever country you go to, they have a travel document issued by that country that allows you to travel until you gain your citizenship. My case took me 20 years. So for 10 of those 20 years traveling as a comedian, I travel with this fucking document that's only good for a year. It takes you forever to get. And I just would figure out all these different loopholes to get to the countries I need to go to. So, in most countries, they need more than a year of validity on your passport to even enter. Well, my thing's only good for a year. It takes you 3-4 months to get it, and it costs like $500, $600 to get. It's incredibly expensive at the same time. You need to hire a lawyer. It's just a lot of red tape to get it, but nobody knows what this document is. So I would just get interrogated or questioned in every single country I'm going to, and I'm just like, I'm just a comedian. I got shows. Like, really, refugee comedian? Like it didn't, and I get it. It didn't. I was a glitch in the matrix. That's why I say in Japan I was interrogated for an hour, but it was like the funniest hour interrogation I ever had because the guy didn't even know what comedy was.
Your Japanese accent is fucking spot on. Spot on without even a hint of racism. Spot on. It is so beautiful because so many people do a Japanese accent. White guys. Yeah. I do one in the new Joker I got, but they do it and it just comes out a tad bit punching down.
Yeah.
Yours was just accurate.
I'm telling you exactly what happened. I sat in this fucking room across from this guy, and he was like, so what these, and he has a piece of paper in front of him. He's going through a checklist. The first thing is like, so what is your occupation? I was like, oh, I'm a comedian. He's like, comedian? I was like, yeah, I do comedy. comedy.
Comedy?
Yeah, I do stand-up comedy. Stand-up comedy. I was like, yeah, I do stand-up comedy. He's like, stand-up comedy. I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm a comedian. Comedian. Am I being roasted right now? What the fuck is happening? Finally, his friend, his coworker walks in, and he's like, basically, what's taking so long? And he's like, they're whispering to each other, comedian. He goes, oh yeah, comedian. He's like a Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby.
That's what he called it. And he was like, oh, Bill Cosby. I was like, yeah, I do comedy. Yeah. and then he gets really serious. It's not in my special. He goes, are you sure you're not here to buy cars to take them back to Iraq to make car bombs? And then he laughs like a villain. He was like, like that. I was like, oh, no, I'm a comedian.
And then he looks at it, he goes, I am a comedian too.
Yeah. And that's what got me off was Bill Cosby. I mean, not literally, but that's what got me. I'm serious. That's what got me off, though. And I ended up leaving. That happened on a regular basis. It's such an excruciating thing. I was constantly fighting to get in the airplane. Constantly proving that this is valid. I have all the proper documentation. And in some cases, like one or two situations where they refused me, boarding access, they just like last minute, you can't go.
What's beautiful about what you do is you tell your story, but it allows, for someone like myself, I always will just say, about me, I think I've done this too much in this podcast. I don't have malice in my heart, but sometimes, it's just like a bachelor's. When you ever hang out with a guy who's been single for too long, it's really hard to get them to do anything other than think about themselves.
Right.
And they're just like, huh?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like that with the world. I just don't know what's going on. And not that I don't care. I do care.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I don't know. It doesn't affect me making money tomorrow. Like
Right.
I'm in this small little bubble of just me trying to keep my family above water and get the next deal or whatever. Get the next thing to make more money or give more creative opportunities. That's not my brain. That's not how it works. But what is beautiful about what you do is it allows you paint your picture, but you paint it with the same colors that other people in this global world are having to interact with. Like when you talk about, coming here and your struggle of trying to get a green card and a passport, I immediately thought, had I been in that struggle, I can very easily see myself, maybe as a Mexican, just going, I don't even want to stick my head above water. I just want to keep, because that's who I am.
To get it,
I want to just keep quiet, and look, if they find me and send me back, then but I don't even want to fucking try to go through the fucking pacing.
Yeah,
it's so complicated.
Yeah. Well, you get so many no's throughout the process. So it's just like, I was so sick of getting no. Like, oh, you can't be a comedian. Nobody wants to see a Muhammad tell jokes. On stage, this is what happened post 9/11. Like nobody wants to see a fucking error. Nobody wants to do this. What I got, but it was actually like great for what I was doing. It was actually really pop. People wanted to hear me, and I'm raised in the South. I'm raised in Texas. Like it was such an anomaly. That was like my gigs. I would go do these hole in the walls in essentially the Chitlin circuit. That's what I was doing, and I've had a slew of no's and you can't do it. No, you can't. No, you can't go to Germany. No, you can't go. So you can't do this. Like, yeah, well, fucking watch me go do it. Oh, it's gonna take you forever to get it. Well, watch me get it. That was the whole thing. Like, you saying I can't follow my dreams, I can't do what I want. Well, you fucking wait. You can't see it, but you wait. You don't know what's inside of me, and it's a lion, and you can't stop this. And I've had situations on the road, like in Houma, Louisiana, at the Lagniappe Music Cafe. Was one of my first headliner gigs, and I was so excited. And you have your CD. Remember, you used to sell like albums and shit afterwards.
Yeah.
I was like, $10. It was like, I was so excited. I had like 27 CDs. I'll never forget it. And I just like sold out all these CDs and everything that I had. I was like, oh my God, $270 on a $500 gig. This is like heaven. I just made $770 in one night telling jokes. Like, holy shit. Like, this is amazing. So I do the gig and I bring a white guy with me, Gary, who's from Beaumont. And I was like, yo, come with me. It's good to have a white dude. I'm driving through this areas. It's like good to have you with me. So we go do the show. He dies on stage. I just couldn't wait for him to get off. Sorry, Gary, but fuck it. You just were terrible that night. And I just couldn't wait for it. I was like, these guys hate him. So I go up, smash the room, sell out all my CDs. I'm excited. I go get paid. I turn the corner, and the room is kind of empty. I smoke weed with a bunch of like super great people, and all these chicks like, you want to smoke with us? Like, yeah, I'll smoke with you. Having a blast. And then the room is kind of emptying out. And I see this police officer and this female in a pantsuit, and she goes, come here, like that. I was like, oh, they just made an announcement. If you're not 21, you need to leave. The comedy show is over. It's now a bar. It's 21 and up. And I was like, she probably thinks I'm not 21. I'm so youthful. She goes, this
is you pre-beer too.
This is pre-beer everything. And she's like, can I see your license? I was like, yeah, you want to see my age? I gave her my license. And she had that Nextel phone. Remember those? Beep, beep, beep. And she starts like, yeah, we got it right here. Let me give you his number. I was like, hold on, what's going on? So she starts running my license. I'm like, oh shit. And then the lady comes back on the Nextel phone. She's like, yeah, that's him. I was like, that's him. And she's like, walk outside with me. We walk outside this lining up music cafe's venue, and there's like 6 squad cars, lights on, like there's a murder scene. That's what it looks like. Fucking, this is what you anticipate for like a murder scene. And there's a dozen police officers, another detective there. And I'm high as shit. Like, I am so high, both like from the show and literally stoned out of my mind, like celebrating. And they're asking me questions. What hotel did you check into? I was like, whoa, what's going on? She's like, there's been an identity theft. And I was like, oh, so stupid. Somebody stole my identity. That's what's happening, right? No, I was the prime suspect in this situation. They're like, what name did you check into at the hotel? I was like, James Dugan. It's like, it's not who you... I was like, no, that's the manager here. His name is James Dugan. He made the reservation for me, and both of our names on the reservation, so that's probably it. No, you checked under Kevin Dugan. I was like, oh... You found me, so you obviously worked it out. So what's the problem? I don't understand. And they were like, why'd you go to Japan and Korea? I was like, hold on a second. How did you know? This is like 2004, right? 2003, 4. So there's no like, I didn't have a website. There's no way for them to know I went to Japan and Korea. I was like, how did you know I went to Japan and Korea? She's like, we searched your room. I was like, you searched my room? And at that point, there's fans still outside lingering. They were like, leave him alone. He was funny. I swear to God. He was so funny. He was like, y'all get out of here. Mind your own damn business. I was by myself. Meanwhile, Gary, who I fucking brought there for this exact purpose, was hiding in the back like a little bitch.
They got him. It's him.
Yeah, they got him. He was like a little bitch.
Going up to the manager. He's not going to be available tomorrow night's show. Do you need a headliner?
Such a cunt. I was so mad. I was like, Japan and Korea? What was I doing in Japan and Korea? This is my ace in the hole. You want to know? He's like, yeah, we want to know. I was doing shows for U.S. troops. Bam. What you got to say? He's like, huh? He's like, what do you do? It's like, you know what I do. My picture's literally staring at everybody in the face right now. I'm a comedian. That's how you found me. And do that. She was like, well, you look really different from the documents we found. Why do you have multiple different IDs with different pictures? I was like, no, that's me. I was just really fat back then. This is just totally different version of me.
Oh my God.
This is thinner me talking to you right now. It's the same fucking person. And they hand me a trash bag full of my like most important documents right out there. Boom, just like threw it at me. They said the other cop to go escort me back to the Ramada Inn, and we head back to. I'm furious, of course. Like I'm so upset. I felt violated. I felt so many different levels. And we show up to the hotel, and the police officer's there, and he has a tattoo. It says USMC on his forearm. I was like, my brother served in the Marine Corps. I was like, he was the only guy that apologized to me. He was like, man, I'm so sorry this happened to you, man. Yeah. I'm so sorry. And the security guard comes up. I shit you not. She looked like she was in her 50s. She might have been in her late 30s. Yeah. But she looked like she was in her 50s, missing her teeth, and she's whistling when she talks. She's like, you gotta admit, when we saw Mo Amer, we just had to call the police. Starts laughing like that. I was like, ha ha ha, that's funny. I just wanted to jump over the counter like those Adam Sandler scenes in movies where you're beating the shit out of you. Call the police. And they searched my room, and he apologized. As the police officer was walking out, and Gary's standing next to me, police officer starting to walk out. You know, like you bring your feature act, share a room. They only give you like one room in these shitty gigs. So the police officer looks back, he looks at me, and he looks at Gary, and he goes, Gary, those are your porn magazines, weren't they? I was like, porn magazines? You brought porn magazines? We're sharing, like, you're disgusting. What are you doing?
We're sharing
and we
room.
walk into my hotel room, and everything's in shambles. Like, everything, your clothes are everywhere. My clothes are just, they left everything just fucked up. There's trash bags everywhere. Just everything's completely fucked up. And we look over at Gary's bed. They have 8 porn magazines just perfectly fanned out. Just like a deck of cards that you see at a casino. They're just perfectly fanned out. I was like, you brought 8 porn magazines for a one-nighter? You are disgusting on so many. I'm laying next to, what did you think was going to happen? This is like pre-porn, being so easily accessible. I'm like, what is wrong with you? And we left that night, bro. It was like, pack up our shit. I don't trust anything. They might have a mic in this room. I don't even know.
Oh, yeah.
And and it was like the most. So that's what the kind of shit that I had to persevere and like get over. And you can't let anything stop you. If you really want it, you just take these experiences and you grow from it, you know?
Yeah, those things they leave a mark on you, and and the way you interact is different from then on out, because you're like
100%. Oh, this could happen. Yeah, this could happen. And I was telling Gary about this on the way. He's like, "Oh man, come on, man, it ain't gonna happen to you." Blah blah blah. Because I was telling him, like, "Yo, I want you to come out with me, just in case. Why don't you come do this gig with me? Da da da. It's a long drive. Come on, man, you're Mo. You know, da da da." Because he just knows me on such a personal level. He just doesn't understand that this could actually happen. So I was just floored the whole time. It was like, I told you, kind of drive back. And he wanted me, like, we should call the press. We should do this. We should do that. And I was like, no, man, I don't want to do that. I want to be known as a comedian based off of my material and based off of my art, not based off of something that happened to me in the situation, like, oh, poor me.
Yeah.
And look at what happened to that situation and trying to get visibility that way. I was like, no, I was very much against that. I was like, I don't want to do that. And he thought it was crazy.
I'm such a lowest common denominator motherfucker. Had I been Muslim around 2002 doing stand-up, I would have yak off Smirnoff that shit.
Yeah.
I would have come out with
with
a bomb attached to me with a button. If you don't laugh.
I thought about it just because I wanted to teach them a lesson and I was upset about it, but I just needed to just, continue to do what I do, and that would remedy that situation.
I think Jesus, fuck. How long have we been going? Oh my God.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Why are you sorry? I'm having a great time.
I went through a deep dive, like just a spiral on you, and just watching everything and just going like, fuck, like what's crazy to me is like, even like the Trump story, which is probably, we all have our big tent poles that gets us recognized, and then you get like people see it online, and then they're like, oh, I know that guy.
Yeah.
But the best part of that, he really did have his name on his sweater.
Yeah, he did have his name on his sweater. He really did have his name on his sweater. Bro, that thing was I came back from Australia. I was starting a tour in the UK. On that 40, I just flew in. Can you imagine flying from Australia, flying across the country to get to New York? You're already like 26 hours just in planes. And then from there, you're flying out, and I just got left fielded by Eric Trump being on this flight. And I didn't know, like, taking a picture was going to go so viral. Like, I was in my ball. I was like, oh, this is just a funny thing that just happened. I didn't realize that nobody in his father's cabinet was making any communicating to anybody in the press. So I was literally the only person that's talked to anybody in the Trump camp since his father was elected. And I woke up in London with my phone, like just you see in movies.
Really?
I was like, oh my God. I don't know, because I sent it to Chappelle, I sent it to all my homies, and put it out for the fans, like, oh, this is funny, ha ha ha, da-da-da, and I was busting his balls a lot on the flight. And then we passed out. I'm exhausted. I passed out, woke up, and he turned on his phone. I turned on my phone. I don't know what notifications he was getting, like, shut your mouth, don't say anything, kind of thing. And we didn't say anything to each other, but we both looked at each other like it was a bad one-night stand. It was like, maybe we shouldn't have done this. Maybe we shouldn't have slept together like this. And it was just, it was wild to open up my email and have every single media outlet that you've ever wanted to talk to or not want to talk to reach out to you on such a personal level.
Al Jazeera is like, can I tell
massive.
you, they got a bad rap.
Yeah.
Because right after 9/11, I guess that Al Jazeera was like everyone assumed that was state represented media for like, that was like the propaganda network. Yeah. They're a legit fucking.
I mean, Fox News is looked at that way. I mean, people don't know. Fox News, CNN, all that. It's like very confusing news space now.
So
real news,
confusing.
fake news, all this bullshit. And Trump is pushing for a government-based media network as well to control what's being said. This is all part of like dictatorships and what have you. But that's a whole nother conversation. But it was like from like, I'm talking about American and European publications, from like GQ to Vanity Fair to People Magazine to Time to, I mean, everyone, The Guardian, Huffington Post. I was on the cover of everything. Everything was being copy pasted, and I didn't talk to anybody at the time. I called Chappelle. I was like, bro, I don't even know what to do. And I was like, first thing, I got to make this hilarious. I got to make a funny bit out of it, number one, or else I become a gimmick, right? I got to show I'm a real stand-up. I got to make this into a bit right away. Yeah. I didn't realize how explosive it was because I was on tour, I was doing a 25-city tour at that time in the UK with other comics, and then I would step off and do open mics in some hole-in-the-wall bar in the Midlands of the UK, and I'd see people whispering, "Oh, that's the guy that's Zozo." Yeah. It's like, Jesus, this thing is everywhere. Yeah. So Dave was just like, man, you got to control the narrative. Pick like 10 publications or outlets that you want to speak to, or else they're going to start fabricating their own stories. You better get ahead of this and control the narrative. And that's why I did. I did like 10 or 12 interviews, locked those in, and then I moved on. I just wrote the bit, and then like 4 months later, I did it on Colbert.
It's a murderous bit.
Yeah, thank you.
It really is. What I met Eric Trump. This sounds so silly. Donald Trump's got how many sons?
He's got 2 older sons, and
I met one of them.
He's got 3 sons, right? He's got the young kid now.
He's got the child.
He's got 4 total. He's got 3 boys and a girl.
I'll tell you real quick. I think I met Eric Trump doing radio one time.
Really?
Yeah, and I loved him.
Oh no!
I swear to God, like I think this is way before. This is just when The Apprentice. Mm-hmm. But he was so fun on radio that I was like, oh, I love that kid.
Yeah,
I think that's him. I don't know. Maybe it was Don. Is there a Don Trump?
It's Junior. Yeah, Don Junior.
Maybe it was Don.
I
Trump.
see you get along with Eric more than Don for some reason.
Really? I don't
know. I see Don like as I don't know. When I sat next to Eric, like I don't. Again, you don't know the person until you meet them, kind of thing. And I don't agree with anything that's happening right now, but I also like have a much bigger picture of like the way I look at politics. So I don't really like dive into the little nitty gritty.
Yeah.
But getting to know him, he's just like, yeah, this and that. This is what I do. Check him on the golf. He's lived that life. That's who he is. He's been slapped around since he was a young kid, made into this person that he is today. So I don't blame him for being who he is. Like that's what he came up in. That's who he is. I'd rather just try to influence him, in a positive way. That's the only way I could do it. Because a lot of people online were just like, how could you even sit next to him and do that? I was like, bitch, it was the last first class seat after a 20-hour flight. You want me to give up the thing that I've been busting my ass my entire life because I want to go protest in economy class? Fuck you. I'm gonna sit there and talk shit, and I'm gonna lay down and I'm gonna be like, yeah, bitch, me too. I'm here in your face, and I'm gonna be who I am. And I was authentic to myself. I sat down, I was busting his balls, I made him uncomfortable. It was fun enjoying that banter, and I just like was trying to get as much information out of just being playful. And that was it. I was like, I didn't even think about it. I was like more like, oh shit, I got a gig in Glasgow right when I land. That's really what I was thinking about. I didn't think this was going to be an entire global situation where I'm on the cover of every publication online, and I'm gonna, I just didn't see that at all.
Yeah, for the record, please no one hold me to a standard that you think you would hold up to, because in any and every situation, I'm going to be friends with everyone.
Yeah.
Like I made a joke on Rogan that I wanted to go party with Kim Jong-un. Yeah. Let me tell you something. If that guy sends an invite, I'm going to go party with the fucking guy. Okay? I'm going to party. I know he's a fucking ruthless dictator, but I just don't have that trigger. I don't like confrontation.
Yeah.
So like I don't like there's very, very, very few people that I'd ever hold some political line with. I can't imagine this. I can't imagine who I'd say, hey man, I hate you.
Right.
I mean, like, because once again, it's like,
There might be a few on my list, but I'm just saying, I'm not gonna say who, but I'm just saying, I just wouldn't feel comfortable
if Trump invited you to dinner.
If Trump invited me to dinner,
if he's like, hey, I want you to come to the White House.
I'd be like, I need to bring a couple of my friends from the streets.
Okay.
I need to bring some people that I really trust, just like you brought in your people. I'm not going there by myself.
Dude, yeah. I go by myself in a heartbeat.
I wouldn't go by myself.
I wouldn't even ask for a +1. I'd go, just me, right?
No. We having lamb? No. Can I make you some lamb? No, I would not go by. I would feel the whole time. I'd feel like this is a setup.
Oh, because you think that they'd use it to propaganda.
I don't know. I would just bring a couple people that have like some, other than myself, which I believe I have very strong street credibility as well, and because I can speak both lingos, right? I can speak a lot of different languages, but I would definitely have. I might have my lawyer with me. You know what I mean? Like,
oh.
Yes.
Oh, I'd fucking
just at least in the other room. He doesn't have to sit with me in like the meeting.
What if he said? Okay, how about this? What if Trump said, "Hey man, we're having a movie night,
yeah,
and we're gonna watch a movie, and I want you and you can bring a date, but it's me and Melania. My kids
sounds
are gonna be
like
there."
a crazy setup already.
Are you serious,
bro? I'm an Arab refugee that's stateless for years until I got my U.S. citizen. I would think immediately like, oh, this motherfucker trying to murder me in dark lights. He wants no lights on, just little faint flicker in the distance. And they're just gonna drag.
Oh, okay.
I would have a helmet device.
Flip me. I want to do the. I want to figure out the one I wouldn't want to have dinner because I have dinner with. I'd be like,
I want to go to Waffle House. I want to be public space.
If a celebrity said movie night, I'm trying to think who was like the biggest.
I'll hang out with celebrities. That's different. I'm talking about Trump, and this time invited me just out of the blue to come hang out at his house. I'm like, oh no.
Okay, Putin sends an email. Hey man,
I would hang out with Putin if I had Khabib with me at the same time. I'd be like, yo, can I bring Khabib Magomedov, whatever his I can't say his last name. That's my hero. I was like, if I can have Khabib with me, I'll feel comfortable.
I'd party with Putin in a heartbeat.
I'm saying I would if Khabib was with me at the same time.
I would almost.
I need his crew that I know could choke like 20 people out at the same fucking time. I would go hang out and be like, yeah. I would ask these questions, but I would be, I don't know, man. I would be tense as shit.
Oh, I love it. He was
like my followers, my fans would just be like, "What you doing, man?"
Oh, for real?
I don't know, man. I think my mom would be thrilled. My mom would be like paranoid for me the whole time. She would just, I don't know. My cousin.
I think I'm oblivious though. I think that's when we talk about white privilege.
Yeah,
it's like I just go, ooh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, Putin get a call from Putin, and then Trump like, whoa, hold on a second. Well, what's happening here? I needed to be on my terms, and
Putin does. I think Putin would be scarier for me because I don't think there are rules. What about the Prince of Saudi Arabia? Is that the guy?
Same rules apply. I mean, for all leaders across the world.
Oh, dude,
Unless it's the Canadian leader, then I would just be like, yeah, man, let's go have some maple syrup.
Justin Trudeau, is that his name?
Trudeau, yeah. I was like, yeah, man, let's go hang out, bro. You let refugees in, no problem. You a good dude. Let's go hang out.
Oh, that's my problem. But he El Chapo. If El Chapo wanted to party with me, I'd party with him.
I would hang out with El Chapo just because just because we'd relate on. I'd feel safer with El Chapo than I would with Donald Trump, to be honest with you.
Oh my god! That is
I'd
the
be like,
best.
your people built tunnels too? Whoa, shit!
You cut down everyone. The Prince of fucking Saudi Arabia. Oh, El Chapo, I'll definitely party with him.
Yeah, come on, it's El Chapo,
El
man.
Chapo.
I want to see how short he is in person. You know,
dude, they were talking about selecting his jury.
Yeah,
and then El Chapo was like, "Don't worry, I won't murder any of you guys." Oh fuck, dude, fuck!
I'd feel safer with El Chapo. I don't know why. I would feel because at least you know what you're getting with El Chapo, right? At least you know. You get there and be like, no, I'm not trying to kill you. We're just hanging out, bro. All right, cool. You let me know right out the gate. God. Entire time I was sitting with Trump, like, is he in my house right now? While he just wanted me to get out of the house? Is that what's happening? Like, I sometimes think that Eric Trump was specifically placed for me to interact with him. Like the Illuminati was hanging out having a meeting. But like, yeah, this is Arab comedian. It's really on the rise right now. I think it'd be a good look. Let's go recruit him into the Illuminati without him knowing he's being drafted, right?
Oh.
He's just like, all right. He's like, who's the right person for the job? Send my son Eric. Let him go check on the golf course in Scotland. You know, just tell him that story. And Eric's like, okay, daddy. You know, he doesn't know.
My God.
And then I just walk in and just the whole thing happened. I feel that way because there was like there was no Secret Service in first class. They were all flying economy.
Are you serious?
Yeah, there was none in first class.
That's fucking hilarious.
I think that way though, man. My brain is fucked, bro. Like I think in conspiracies.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah,
I don't think conspiracies are conspiracies. It's like, that's me living in a reality like that.
I think that's what got me involved with the Russian mafia in the first place is my exuberance.
You got involved in the Russian mafia?
Oh, you've never heard that story?
No.
Oh my God. Dude, I'm about to. I'll just send you the story. I can't. I got involved when I was.
Send me this.
Oh, when I was a kid, I got pictures of them all floating around right here. When I was 22, I got involved with the Russian mafia and robbed a train.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, it's the reason. It's like my.
You went from avoiding confrontation to robbing a train. What happened?
Yeah. No. I robbed
All
a
of a sudden
train.
your phone rings and says, hello, this is Putin. I want you to come out and have braised lamb with me in Moscow.
Oh, dude, it's like my flying with Trump story. It's the reason I sell tickets is because I got involved with the Russian mafia in college when I was in college, and then we robbed a train. It's a really good story. It's a really good story.
It sounds like
I'll send you
story. What are you talking about?
I'll send you the link of me telling on my special.
You knew you were robbing the...
Oh yeah. It's a good story.
You got arrested for this? I mean,
it's a good story. You got to hear the story. I don't want to spoil it for you.
I'm too intrigued now.
No,
I can't wait.
Yeah. It's one of those things.
I can't believe I've never heard this story.
Oh yeah. This cigar's gone out. Like
it's not on the
10
last
times.
special you did though.
No.
But I watched that. I was like, I didn't see that.
No, it's the one before that comes out on Netflix in February.
Oh man, you already did another one?
I did one before this. It was on Showtime.
Okay.
And because it was Showtime, not a ton of people watched it.
It's being licensed on.
Yeah, and so it's being licensed over to Netflix. But it's the thing that got me successful in stand up. Like I was touring forever, and I told the story on Rogan for the first time. I told it on a couple.
Right.
I told it around, like people knew it. I told it on Rogan, and it just changed my touring. Like literally, people started coming out to see me, and then I thought
like this Bert guy, really good.
It's no, my nickname I gave myself to the Russian mafia on accident was the Machine.
Yes,
I said I'm the Machine, and they were like, it's a flip of one word, one letter. If you say I'm the man, it's like Yamashina. But if you say I'm a car, it's Yamashinu. And I said I'm a car. I'm the Machine.
Yeah,
and they just thought it was hilarious.
It is funny.
We it was like it went huge. It went viral. Like 3 years ago, it went viral on Facebook. Like I don't know, 100 million views or something.
Oh my God!
I got 40 million on my page, and this other guy ripped it, posted to his page. That was the one that really blew up. Because that's what the guy did for a living, was take viral videos and promote them, and then make money off of them.
He just ripped it, like just talking shit, or
no. He just took it.
Oh, he ripped it. You mean like he copied
took it, copied it? But he did something that I didn't do. He put, I wouldn't do this only because I thought people knew it. Right. But he put, no joke, this story is 100% true. And what had happened is someone had commented that was in my class, and on the story when I posted it, and said, this story's true. I was in the class. He fucking robbed us. And so that guy saw that and then branded it just a tad bit more, more aggressively to say, this is a true story. And it just blew up. It changed my touring.
That's amazing.
It got me my Netflix special. Is that one story?
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's
I don't have a story of robbing stuff, but I have a story that I was accidentally in a situation where I had to talk somebody out of a murder. That's what I had.
What's that?
I mean, I don't know if I'm worried, like, enough time has gone by, but it was just one of those situations where I was, I got out of the neighborhood. It's like a lot of people. I grew up with like great dudes, and I ended up having a phenomenal, like a beautiful upbringing. But there was a stint where, you're just in the wrong circles, and not even on purpose. You just because you're living in that same neighborhood. So at that point, I've changed my life. I want to be a comedian. I started doing it a couple of years at that point. I'm like 19 at the time. That was probably 19, 20 at the time. And I started touring full time, and that's what I was doing. And really close friend of mine just calls me out of the blue. I just came back into town, and he's just like, hey, man, can you come over back into the same neighborhood where I used to work at that store? And I was like, man, I don't want to come over there. Honestly, it's a shit show. I don't want to do that. You know, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I really need you here. If you come out, it'd be really great. I was like, bro, I love you, cousin, but I'm not going to, I hate that. I got out of there, and I'm so happy. I'm doing well. I'm trying to be, full. This is what I'm doing. I'm out of this shit. And it's not like I was doing anything crazy, but just being in that neighborhood, you're just not, your percentages are going to greatly go up if you stick around there to probably end up in prison or end up in trouble or whatever.
And if you even got like a misdemeanor, your chances of being a citizen
exactly. I don't want any of that, of course, and that's a big thing too. But he just sounded so like he needed me so bad, and I just so badly, and I couldn't turn him down because I love him. I love the man. I love the guy. And we're still friends to this day. He was like, bro, can please come by? Please come by. They'd love to see you. They want to hear about your touring. I was like, sounds fishy. I show up, man, and there's just guys strapped. Like, they're all strapped. I'm like, TJ, this guy, he's coming. I shouldn't name names. He's like, he's coming. This guy's been stealing from me. He's been stealing from that guy's a fucking crook. We're going to kill him tonight. I looked at my friend. I was like, what the fuck are you doing bringing me into this situation? He goes, I came here to hang out. I'm stuck in this situation. I need help. You're the only person that could do it. That's what he told me. I was like, well, all of a sudden I'm a hostage negotiator? What the fuck is him? I'm a comedian.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing? And they're all strapped. We're going to kill him tonight. And he's like, they're coming. We're going to grab him. He thinks he's selling us rims. We're going to grab him and put him in the house. And it's just in a matter of seconds, I couldn't have any control over the whole thing. This is already happening. Now I got to be in it. I got to figure out my way out of this situation. Yeah. And they grab him. Freaking car takes over. They set him up. They bring him in the house. And they just start smacking the dude like, bam, you gonna fucking die. You steal from me. I provide for you. I take care of you. And you steal from me. Bam, just smacking the shit out of him. And they tie up his hands. And they were like, and they opened up his backpack that he had with him. And all these items that he stole from his house are still in his fucking bag. You steal from me, bah. And he looked at him closer. He's like, look at these fucking jeans. These jeans are these my jeans? The guy fucking stole his own jeans and wearing them. Took off his jeans. He's sitting in his boxers, this poor guy. I mean, he's a piece of shit, honestly. Yeah. I mean, but he didn't deserve to die. So the whole fucking night I spent just negotiating this guy's life, trying to talk the guy out of. He was like, what happens when I drink? When I drink, I get crazier. And it was just like hell. It was hell, and I was like, had my hands like this the whole time, like
not
I don't
touching
want
anything.
I was like, not touching a fucking thing. I'm like sitting there, like, bro, it's not worth it. This kid, why?
I have a visual of you with Windex cleaning up things.
I was like, bro, and the whole time I'm looking at my friend like, fuck you for bringing me into this situation. I'm just trying to live my life, and this is what you bring me into. I was so furious. I was so innocent in this thing. I had nothing to do with anything. Why are you doing this? And the whole time I'm just talking this, trying to talk for this kid's life. And I did. I ended up calming down the whole 5-6 hours later of just grueling, I'm going to kill him right now. And I grab him. No, don't do it. And then I go talk to the other kid that's sitting there crying. I was like, bro, listen, just say sorry. Just say sorry. That's all I want you to say, sorry. And I want you to cry. I want you to cry that you fucking mean it. And you got to do it because this guy's crazy. And I didn't want to be here. And I met you like a couple of times from the neighborhood store. I barely know you, but I know you stole from him. Just say you're sorry all the fucking time. Say you're sorry. Give him whatever you want. Just continue. Fuck. Don't try to resist. Don't try to say but this, but that. Don't take but out of your conversation. Yeah. Don't ever say, I was just teaching them on what to say, and that's what calmed the whole situation out. And I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen from here. It's almost 5 a.m. I'm getting the fuck out. I looked at my friend. I was like, this is the time, and I got the hell out of there.
Good God.
That was like the and I haven't walked back into that neighborhood since. It's been like 16 years.
Jesus. How's your mom doing?
My mom's great, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, she's great.
Is she still in Houston?
She's still in Houston. I want to take her on vacation so bad. We need to go do something, though, for sure.
Yeah.
Something special for that woman.
And your brothers and sisters?
I'm the youngest of 6. So.
Jesus.
Yeah, they're all grown and stuff. One of my brothers is a pilot. One of my other brothers doesn't like he doesn't want anything with the public eye or anything like that, so I don't really talk about him. But I have
I can understand that.
Yeah, I get it.
I talked to Brian Regan the other day, and I said, "Do you talk about your kids on stage?" He goes, "Nah." I asked them if they wanted me to talk about them on stage, and they didn't seem into it. And I was like, "Oh, you asked them?" I just trashed mine. Are you fucking kidding me? And I was like, "Oh, what did I do?"
Yeah, it was like a point that that happened to me that there was a conversation that happened within my family, and it's fine. Like I basically found out, like, well, one of my brothers doesn't give a shit. I say whatever I want about him. And it's nothing like I'm not talking bad about him. In my opinion, it's like, yo, this is lifting you. I'm proud of you.
Yeah,
I'm very happy. I'm very proud of what your accomplishments are, and I want everybody to know how special you are. That's where I come from. I'm not sitting there just talking shit the whole time. And I talk about my brother being a pilot. There's just a hilarious thing that happened where I have an Arab brother in a post 9/11 thing who is a pilot, and the FBI did come to our house to vet you, and that's a hilarious thing that happens. And I have a nephew named Osama, and why they visited is because you had a conversation on the phone from the airport talking to my brother-in-law, and you're talking about when your kids are going to hang out, and all the kids' names are Muhammad, Osama, and this and that, and it popped up and triggered, and that became hilarious. So I talk about that on stage. Like, it's fine. I'm actually humanizing the situation.
That's what
more than anything else. So I just kind of left it. I got into an argument with it, and it's just like all love, and I respect his wishes, and I'm trying my best to do it. And he's like, well, this thing was printed. I was like, man, people just find out things. My Wikipedia says I have 3 children. I live in Mexico, live in LA with a Mexican wife. Like, that's not what I have,
Oh yeah, that's right. It did say that.
It's like fucking weird. I've been trying to get that taken off. I don't know, man. People write whatever they want.
I forgot about. I did see that, and I was like, oh, okay.
I wouldn't mind if I had illegitimate children, like hanging out there. I really would. I think it's like phenomenal. Most people are like, oh, that's terrible. You had illegitimate children. I'm like, I didn't know they existed. If I did, I would have taken care of them. I would still embrace them if they showed up, but I don't have any kids. Any kids of my own? No.
Have you ever had sex with a black chick?
Yeah. Yes.
That's all I needed to know.
Yeah. Yes.
I think black man.
Why? That's so random.
I don't know. That's my interview style.
Yes.
I never had sex with anything but white chicks.
That's it?
Yeah,
your entire life?
Yeah, but I'm 46. It wasn't like... I mean, I know that you can't even reference the past because people go, what?
Yeah,
but, I mean, Florida was fairly segregated when I was a kid.
Sure, still is.
Still fucking is.
Yeah,
and Florida, it just was not... You didn't see it a lot.
Yeah. I traveled a lot, met a lot of different people, so yeah, equal opportunity lover.
I just recently, and I say recently, probably like, I don't know, maybe, I don't know how recent, but like 10 years, 9 years, I just started realizing how beautiful Indian women are.
Oh, they're stunning. Yeah.
Indian women might be the most beautiful out of everything. Everything.
I don't know, man. It's just so many beautiful people. There's so many, like the mixture of races and places that you'll go around the earth and be like, man, I didn't know Kazakhstani women were kind of attractive, but yeah. It's like, it's amazing. There's so many different creations that you just like, man, it's endless.
I was obsessed the other night. Sometimes I get obsessed about something that you're never like. I was like, a long time ago, I was like, I wonder what the average IQ was when Jesus was around. Like, I wonder what the average IQ was.
Such a random thought. What's wrong with you?
Like, I was like,
with the random,
because I was dissecting. I was dissecting how hard it would have been to become a Messiah. Yeah. Like there's only like, I think there was only like 1,300 people in the world back then. These are all numbers I was making up.
You're just making up shit.
I said to my wife, I go, what do you think? I go, I wonder if I can Google what the average IQ of people were. And my wife goes, you can't, because they didn't come up with an IQ test until the fucking 30s. Yes. So no one took an IQ. You think they had an IQ test? And I was like, oh, good call.
It's so much ambiguity around the time of, the prophet back then. I mean, Prophet Jesus or Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam, Isa. Jesus' name is Isa.
Oh yeah. What is? This is gonna sound really stupid.
No, it's not.
You ready for this? No, you haven't heard it yet.
Okay.
So I don't believe really. I'm Catholic, but I believe in Jesus. You believe in Muhammad, right?
Yes, I do believe in Muhammad, but I also, so in the Muslim tradition, in a Muslim religion, you believe from the first prophet to the last prophet. So the last prophet is the Prophet Muhammad, who brought the Quran, the revealed to him, and that's a whole nother story. But we believe from Abraham to Sayyidina Adam, Abraham, Jesus, it keeps going. Jacob, Yaqub, there's so many prophets. We believe in. Actually, the Quran references that we've sent you many prophets as speaking to your tongue to bring you the good word. And I believe I might have these numbers switched. I'm not a theologian. That's not what I do. But I studied enough, and they say that there's like 33,000 prophets were sent, and over like 100,000 messengers were sent. So I think I have those flipped, that were sent to different people, tribes, so you can learn from one another, so they can bring you the good word. And then I created you in different tribes so you can learn from one another. And so we believe in not only the prophets that existed, but the prophets that we don't even know about. I mean, that even like some scholars would say, like Buddha was also somebody who's bringing the word to that region of the world. Somebody, you know what I mean? There's all these, and we believe that the Prophet Muhammad brought everything together. So it's clear. Everything has been tampered with so much. Like the Bible has been rewritten so many times. Who wrote it? Men wrote it, this and that, and becomes a whole situation. Well, how is the Quran written? Blah, blah, blah. It was revealed to him through the angel Gabriel. If that's true, how is that true? Well, he was illiterate. He didn't read or write. So for him to create something like this is impossible, especially in Arab culture at that time. Poetry was so revered, still is to this day, but poetry is just such a big part of it. So being eloquent with your words was something that was so attractive and beautiful in that time, So when that was revealed to them, nobody heard any words like this. And how could that be revealed to somebody who is illiterate and an orphan and doesn't read or write, but he has this? So there was like this miracle that happened with the Quran itself and how it was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad. And it was just like the first thing that was revealed to him, he used to meditate all the time. He would leave. People would just drink wine and party basically and recite poetry, and he didn't want anything to do with that. He would go and meditate regularly. He would just leave and sit in the cave and just be constant meditation and worship. And he had that interaction, which he didn't know what it was at the time. And he said, again, I don't want to get this wrong because it's really, really important. But one of the first things that Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq means read in the name of your Lord that created. Like, what? And he was like, what are you saying? He's like, I don't, in Arabic, Iqra means several things. So Arab words have trilateral roots. So it could mean many things. Iqra could mean literally read or recite. And the Prophet Muhammad replied to this thing that was happening to him. He's like, Mana biqari, like I don't read and I'm not a poet. I don't do that. And he felt a squeezing. He said, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Like, read in the name of your Lord that created you. And he's like, I don't read. And then he felt a squeezing. According to him, when he was telling his wife the story, he felt like he was being squeezed so hard that his intestines were going to burst out of his body. That's how intense it was. He said, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq khalaqa min alaq. It means read in the name of the Lord that created you from a hanging blood clot. It's over 1,400 years ago. Like, how would he know that's how you're created? And the way it's described is exactly medically how it's described today. So over 1,400 years ago, to have that kind of revelation is just insane. Like, nobody can have that information. And it was like, I'm saying this, getting it mixed up, but it's like read the name of your Lord that taught you how to write from the pen and paper. And that was like the first revelation. It was like a big thing. And he went to his wife. He was like, I don't know if this is good or evil. I don't know what it is. He's horrified. He was shaking. She remember putting blankets around him. And she was like, you are a very special person. I don't think anything like this would come to you if it was evil. I know it wouldn't.
Yeah. And
that's when everything started being revealed to him. He would just go into trances, and it would just be given to him with the angel Gabriel, and it went over time, like over his entire life. The Quran was assembled. And there's this whole thing like, oh, how do you know that existed? Is that really true? Well, the time of the Prophet Muhammad was the first time that they actually had recorded history. Mm-hmm. They actually were writing and were preserving history. So you didn't have that in the time of the messenger of Jesus. You didn't have that necessarily. We didn't the recorded
I love that you
time.
Call him messenger Jesus.
Yeah. Isa alayhi salam, like I say it in Arabic, so it's hard for me to like switch gears. But it's like, Jesus, Sayyidina Isa is like mentioned in the Quran more than any other prophet. There's like miracles within the in Islam talking about Jesus more than any other tradition that exists on earth today. So whenever we say, oh, you believe in this, so you don't believe in that. No. On the contrary, the Prophet Muhammad used to say, like, no, he was so humble in his way of talking. He's like, no, imagine an entire building and there was just one brick missing. All I am is the last brick. That's all I am. I'm just the last brick in this big puzzle. That's all I am. I'm this last piece that brings all this together. There's one creation. There's one God. I'm the last prophet of God, and this is all to believe in all these prophets, and this was revealed to him. So we believe in all of that.
I wish these. I kind of bummed out at the demonization of Muslim people. I guess is that. It's like, I mean,
yeah, like, but I feel that way like about religion as a whole. Religion just becomes such a taboo.
It's just a taboo.
Religion. It's become cool to not believe in anything.
My daughter doesn't believe in God, and I'm like, and it breaks my heart.
How old is your daughter?
14.
Yeah, that's normal for that age, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, they say the most critical age is around 15. Is around that age where they are questioning existence and what is real, what's not real, and I believe the issue with God currently is that for so long people have put God as a human being in the sky, his hands are, sticking out for all of us to come up to us. I'm this human being in the sky. Well, I mean, if you're just a rational, logical person, you know how like we could die just by so easy circumstances. Like I'm so frail. How can I be God? Like to imagine that. So people can lose faith in that, or something horrible happens to you and you're like, oh, if there was a God, why is this happening to me if there's really a God? Well, the world has khair and has shar, which means it has blessings and it has evil. I mean, that's just the way it works. It's just the balance of earth. Somebody could lose their job. That's evil for them. But the next person getting that job is a blessing to them. It's just the way it is. And understanding that there is more than this realm of existence is something that I believe in. And my teacher always said, like, you're trying to describe God. Your inability to describe God is your understanding of God. Like your brain should short circuit when you try to describe. Like, how can you? It's infinite universe. It's light. Power. I mean, I don't know. I'm a human being. But I do know that there is miracles that happen on a daily basis.
I believe in miracles.
There's so many little creatures that exist that we don't even know about. We're still finding out about fucking animals in the tropical rainforest. We've only gone like 2 miles deep in the ocean. Like, I believe there's monsters lurking in the ocean for sure. There is. Like, I believe in all that. I believe like this is just infinite universe. If the Super Hubble telescope took a picture in the middle of the sky in like a square inch and they found 10,000 fucking galaxies in that 1 square inch, like, give me a break, bro. Like, it's like I believe this is it's not just some accident that happened and you die, you don't exist. I feel like that's all laughable to me. It's all laughable to me. You can't tell me like the miracles that I've just experienced in my life. You just gotta tell me the dream, just being in a dream realm where I've had like very specific dreams about like people I'm gonna work with in the future and how it's come together. Like I've had very specific dreams about Chappelle, for instance, and things that have happened to me and the fact that they come to life. It's like, it's incredible to me, and I believe in it. I believe that there's one creator. I believe that there is infinite universe, and I believe we all come from the same source. We're all the same but different, and we're intended to be different so we can learn from each other, but we suck as a human race, so we want to fucking...
It would be cool though if aliens showed up and Scientologists were like, told you we were right, and we all just had to go, I guess it's Scientology.
It's just like an 80s sitcom, Scientology. Oh shucks, Tom Cruise.
Wow, how the fuck did they do that?
Fuck that,
dude.
Bro.
I'm so glad I got to meet you and hang out with you. You're a fascinating guy. You really are.
Thank you, man.
And you're inspirational too, man.
Bro. Thank you for showing love, man.
Your path has been really fun to discover these past couple days leading up to this. And talking with you, man, you're the real deal. I hope we stay friends.
We got it, man. No, we have to.
I mean, you're a smart motherfucker.
Oh man,
like a really smart motherfucker.
And I hang out with like really brilliant people. So you saying that about me makes me feel
Dude.
silly. It was like, wait until you meet these people. These people make me look like an infant.
Dude,
I'm an infant. I am an infant. I am definitely an infant, and I'm just been blessed to be around, great people that have influenced me, and you've been influenced too by great people as well, and it's just great just hanging out, man.
Dude. Well, fuck. Well, hey, thank you.
Let's
for
go
doing
swim
this, man.
naked in your pool.
All right.